Dual Cultivation audiobook by Kevin, Chapter 826. Take responsibility and stick it in my butt. Su Yang silently stared at Kiyu's smooth and round buttocks and her small butthole that was slightly moving in and out, almost like it was alive and breathing. If it was any other woman before him right now, he would not hesitate to plunge his sword deep into that dark hole and begin ravaging it. However, since this is Kiyu, who has the same bloodline as Yuehai, it made Su Yang hesitate, as what happened to Yuehai when the curse activated still lingers in his mind to this day. The pain on Yuehai's face, Su Yang would never forget such an expression for the rest of his life. After a minute of pure silence and stillness, Kiyu's voice suddenly resounded. It's okay, Su Yang. I trust Sister Tanxi. Stick it inside me." Su Yang swallowed nervously after hearing Kiyu's words. Is this really okay? He hasn't doubted himself this much for a very long time. It was a nostalgic feeling that brought him back to the days when he was still an inexperienced little brat who doubted everything. A few more moments later, Kiyu lifted her head from the pillow and turned around to look at him with a fully flushed face, and she said, "Su Yang, we're already at this point and you are responsible for it. Therefore, take responsibility and stick it in my butt." Su Yang snapped out of his daze after hearing Kiyu's bold words, and he nodded. "Okay, I'm putting it inside, Kiyu." After taking a deep breath, Su Yang moved his hips slightly forward and poked Kiyu's throbbing butthole with his thick rod. "Oh!" Kiyu subconsciously moved her butt away when she felt something hard and wide threatening her small hole. However, two large hands suddenly grabbed her buttocks a second later, and Su Yang pulled her butt until his rod was poking at her back entrance again. "Don't run away now, Kiyu," Su Yang said as he pushed the tip of his rod into Kiyu's butthole, immediately spreading it widely. Kiyu could feel an indescribable feeling coming from her rear, causing her to moan out loud. However, since Su Yang's meat stick as well as Kiyu's butthole was soaked in euphoric oil, it wasn't actually that painful, and Su Yang managed to stick his rod into her rear entrance almost instantly. Of course, it was still tight as hell back there, and Su Yang could feel Kiyu's warm inside squeezing his rod, almost as though it was threatening to crush it. Furthermore, as though the hole was alive, Su Yang could feel a sucking sensation inside her dark cave that slowly pulled his rod deeper inside before pushing it back outside a little. "I'm going deeper now," Su Yang warned her before he proceeded to shove his thick rod deeper into her back entrance, stretching her skin and hole even more. Kiyu gritted her teeth as she endured this unfamiliar and almost shocking experience. A few moments later, Su Yang's entire shaft from the tip to the end was inside Kiyu's butthole. "How do you feel?" Su Yang asked her afterward. "Do I really have to answer that?" Kiyu said with her head burrowed inside the pillow again. "I'm going to move now." After giving Kiyu sufficient time to prepare herself, Su Yang began moving his hips, shoving his thick meat stick in and out of her tight hole. Kiyu quickly began moaning, and her front entrance drooled with yin qi like never before, forming a small and sticky puddle on the bed. After pounding Kiyu's butthole for many minutes, he suddenly said to her, "Kiyu, turn around. I want to see your beautiful face." Kiyu did not respond to his words, mostly because she was too embarrassed to turn around. After a moment of silence, Kiyu began moving her body, albeit a bit stiff like a wooden puppet. A few seconds later, Kiyu turned her body around and laid on the bed normally, and she did all of this while Su Yang's rod was still inside her butt. Su Yang ignored the perfect view of her body and went to kiss her. Kiyu quickly indulged herself in the passionate kissing, and Su Yang began moving again as they continued to kiss each other. They stopped kissing many minutes later, and Su Yang focused on thrusting his rod into her body whilst his gaze stared at Kiyu's beautiful face and body intensively. "Spread your legs and let me see it," Su Yang said to her. Kyu nodded in a bashful manner and loosened her legs, showing him her wet slit. Su Yang licked his fingers before rubbing her slit. Tilde. Kyu's body trembled with delight in response to his teasing. Do you like this? Su Yang teased her little sister some more, even gently pinching her pink pearl. Tilde. An abundant amount of yin qi gushed from Kyu's cave almost immediately after Su Yang pinched her weak spot. The two of them continued to cultivate in this manner for a few more hours until Su Yang finally released his yang qi inside Kyu's butthole. Tilde. Kyu could feel hot liquid gushing up her butt until Su Yang unplugged his rod from her hole, allowing the yang qi to flow out like a waterfall. And just as Kyu expected a break, Su Yang plugged his rod back inside her butthole before speaking with a smile on his face. I'm going to fill you up all night, Kyu. No, we're going to do this for the next few days until we're both satisfied. Are you sure? What about your appointments with the disciples and the others? Kyu asked him. Su Yang chuckled and said, they can wait. I'll make it up to them later, but right now, for the next few days, I will be yours entirely and you will be mine. Hearing his words, Kyu couldn't help but show a bright and blissful smile on her face, and she nodded. Okay. And the two of them continued their cultivation session shortly later, remaining inside that room for almost an entire week, only taking breaks to change the bedsheets since they were soaked in yin qi and yang qi. Chapter 827, something they've never seen before. Kyu breathed heavily as she laid on the bed with the sunlight basking her beautiful naked body, the sweat on her body glistening like crystals. How are you feeling? Su Yang asked her while he stood by the window, his body completely naked as well. Besides feeling sore all over my body and the gaping hole in my butt, I am feeling perfectly fine. The curse didn't activate as Sister Tanksy said, she responded. That's relieving. Su Yang nodded. After a moment of silence, Kyu spoke. What's going to happen to us now? What do you want to happen? Su Yang asked her in response with a smile on his face. Kyu opened her mouth only to close it again a second later, and she began pondering what she really wanted. Sometime later, she said, I want to continue to spend time like this with you forever. Of course, I would like that as well. Su Yang immediately responded, the smile on his face growing wider. He then approached her on the bed and gave her a gentle kiss on the lips. Get some rest. I'll be busy with other things, he said afterward. You really have unlimited stamina. How do you still have the energy to walk after almost a week of that and with barely any rest at that? Kyu couldn't help but smile. Su Yang chuckled and said, most of the time it's my will and spirit that keeps me going. I may have more stamina than your average folks, but I also get tired too, you know. Sometime later, Su Yang left the room to let Kyu rest. As he made his way back to his own room, he bumped into Wu Jingjing. Su Yang, how did it go with Sister Kyu? Oh, never mind. Wu Jingjing halted her sentence midway and chuckled after she noticed the wide smile on Su Yang's face, looking like a child who just got what he wanted for his birthday after waiting for so long. Where are you going now? She changed her question. I had spent more time with Kyu than I had anticipated, and I still need to concoct those pills, which is what I'll be doing now, he replied. Okay. Wu Jingjing nodded. A few minutes later, Su Yang went to find Liu Lanjai. Welcome back, Su Yang. Do you need something? Yes, can you have the disciples assist me with something? I need some cauldrons to be moved to a spacious area so I can concoct pills. In the meantime, I'll be gathering some people. How many cauldrons do you need to be moved? Liu Lanjai then asked. All of it, Su Yang said with a smile. All of it? Liu Lanjai repeated in a surprised manner. Yes, it'll take forever to concoct so many pills if I only use one cauldron at a time. I understand. I'll notify the disciples that are free right now. Thank you, then I will be right back. Sometime later, Su Yang left the Profound Blossom Sect and headed to the Heavenly Swan Sect to meet with Bai Lihua. "What's the matter, Su Yang?" Bai Lihua asked him, as this was an unexpected visit. "Come with me. I have something to show you." Bai Lihua nodded her head, not even bothering to question him about the situation. After picking up Bai Lihua in his flying ship, Su Yang went to the Divine Nature Garden. "Master Su Yang," Senior Zheng greeted him, "come with me. I have something to show you." Su Yang repeated what he said to Bai Lihua to Senior Zheng. "Okay." Just like Bai Lihua, Senior Zheng did not question Su Yang's intentions and dropped everything he was doing to follow him. A few minutes later, they arrived at the Profound Blossom Sect. After descending, Su Yang said to Senior Zheng, "Go get the other 2 disciples. I'll be right back." At the end of his sentence, Su Yang left the Profound Blossom Sect once again, this time heading to the Burning Lotus Sect to meet with Wang Xuren, who was practicing her alchemy in her pill room. "Su Yang, just give me a few more minutes and I'll meet you in the bedroom," said Wang Xuren the moment she saw him. "I'm here for something else today, so we'll have to do that another time. After all, there are people waiting for us." Su Yang said, "Who's waiting for us? And what are we doing?" Wang Xuren asked. "We're going to the Profound Blossom Sect with the rest of the disciples. I'm going to show you something none of you have seen before," he said. "Ho, that's a bold claim," Wang Xuren said with a smile, and she continued, "Okay. Let me finish here and we can." Before Wang Xuren could even finish her sentence, Su Yang activated his alchemy flames and surrounded the cauldron Wang Xuren was working on, mixing his flame with her flames. This is..." Wang Xuren stared at the cauldron with a shocked look, and before she could even speak, Su Yang helped her finish the pill. "You can do something like this. You just entered the room. How did you know my progress with the pill? How can you achieve such a feat so flawlessly and casually?" Wang Xuren asked him afterward. "It's not too difficult, really. You'll be able to do the same in a few years." "Really?" Wang Xuren's eyes flashed with excitement. "Yes, especially if you have the god of alchemy teaching you." Su Yang smiled. Sometime later, Wang Xuren followed Su Yang to the Profound Blossom Sect where everyone else was waiting. "Su Yang, the preparations are ready." They placed the cauldrons at the gathering area. Liu Lanjai said to him, "Okay, thank you. You can come as well if you'd like. It won't take too long." Su Yang then said, "Okay." Liu Lanjai immediately nodded, as she was curious what he was going to do with so many cauldrons. Chapter 828, Unfathomable Alchemy Skills. Sometime later, Su Yang led Liu Lanjai and his alchemy disciples to the gathering area, where exactly 100 cauldrons were placed in an orderly fashion. Wang Xuren raised her eyebrows in a puzzled manner when she saw this, wondering what Su Yang was going to do with so many cauldrons set up. "Su Yang, are you going to hold an alchemy competition with so many cauldrons?" Senior Zheng couldn't help but ask him, as this setup and scenery are usually seen during competitions. "Just watch and you'll understand." Su Yang then stopped walking and said, "You guys should stay here. It might get a little dangerous." Wang Xuren and the others nodded their heads and stood there while Su Yang took a seat in front of these cauldrons. He then closed his eyes and began cultivating. A few minutes later, Su Yang slowly opened his eyes, and he proceeded to stand up. Afterward, Su Yang took a deep breath, and he mumbled in a low voice, "100 Cauldron Flame Technique." Whoosh! A massive amount of alchemy flames suddenly appeared and ushered forward like a tidal wave, submerging the cauldrons in a fiery sea of alchemy flames. Wang Xuren and the others' jaw dropped upon seeing this, but alas, it was just the beginning. The fiery sea slowly declined until it looked like the cauldrons were bathing in it. Su Yang took another deep breath, and he proceeded to keep the alchemy flames like this for a few moments until all 100 cauldrons were at the same temperature. The moment the cauldrons were prepared, Su Yang retrieved the storage rings and proceeded to toss the exact amount of ingredients into each cauldron with his spiritual energy before closing the lid on the cauldrons at the exact same time, concocting 100 pills simultaneously. "I am possible. What kind of alchemy is this?" Senior Zheng mumbled in a dazed voice, clearly in disbelief. Even Kai Yan and Luo Yixia watched with their eyes wide as saucers and their jaws touching the ground from shock. They simply couldn't believe that they were witnessing. Su Yang, Yu, Wang Xuren and Bai Lihua were rendered speechless by Su Yang's showcase of alchemy skills that could only be described as godly and incomprehensible. It was already shocking enough that Su Yang could concoct a pill in under a minute, but they could have never imagined that he would be able to concoct 100 pills at once. However, their shock did not end there. A few minutes later, Su Yang removed the lids with his spiritual energy before taking out the pills. When the spectators saw how many pills were coming out of each cauldron, they realized that Su Yang was not just concocting 100 pills at once, he was concocting 1,000 pills at once with 10 pills in each cauldron. How? The spectators were so shocked that they'd forgotten how to speak momentarily. After putting the pills into a pill bottle, Su Yang turned to look at the spectators and said to them with a smile on his face, "What you've just witnessed is the peak of alchemy. Of course, it's just a showcase of skills and not actually what the peak actually looks like." Compared to his alchemy master, the god of alchemy, who has the ability to use 1,000,000 cauldrons at once and concoct over 100 million pills in a single session, what he'd just done was nothing but child's play. However, in the eyes of Wang Xuren and the other alchemy disciples, what Su Yang did was already beyond their understanding and realm of possibility. "I would have shown you this earlier, but due to my lacking cultivation base, I could only show it now. However, even now, I cannot do this for long due to how much spiritual energy it takes to manage the alchemy flames," said Su Yang a moment later. "Any questions?" Obviously, they had questions, plenty of them at that. However, even if they asked these questions, it was not like they would be able to replicate what Su Yang did even if he answered these questions. It was simply an unachievable feat for them even in 1,000,000 years. "Don't be shy. I know you have questions for me," Su Yang urged them, and he continued, "After all, I am probably the only person in this world who would be able to answer your questions right now." The disciples exchanged glances with each other and they proceeded to bombard Su Yang with questions. "Where did you learn to do such a thing?" Senior Zheng asked him. "How long did it take for you to master this technique?" Kai Yan asked him. "Do you think I will be able to do the same thing in the future?" 10. "No, even if it's just 2 or 3 cauldrons at once, do you think I can concoct more than 1 pill at once?" Luo Yixia asked. "I learned it from a very good friend of mine who's not in this world, and it took me longer than what I would like to admit. As for whether you can do it or not, of course, you're my disciples. Although it may take you years, even decades of practice, you'll eventually learn how to do it if you continue taking my lectures." The disciples nodded with a resolute look on their faces. "Anyway, I am going to continue doing this until I use up all of the ingredients. You can stay here to watch if you'd like. You might even learn something from it." Thus, Su Yang returned to concocting pills in the same manner after taking a break to recover his spiritual energy, and he would do this for the entire day. By the end of the day, Su Yang had concocted over 100,000 pills after repeating the process 100 times. "No matter how many times I see it, I am always left astounded and speechless. Just how vast is the Dao of alchemy? What else is there that I have yet to experience?" Wang Xuren mumbled to herself, wondering how far she could walk in this path. Chapter 829, 4 great families gathering once he'd finished concocting all of the pills. Su Yang turned to look at Wang Xuren and Bai Lihua and said to them, "Go ahead and grab 10,000 Heaven Transcendence pill, 25,000 Earth Advancement pill, and 5,000 of the others for each of you. It should be enough to last your sects for many decades to come." Wang Xuren and Bai Lihua nodded their heads and immediately went to accept their portion. Meanwhile, Senior Zheng watched them with envy. Why didn't the divine nature garden get its own share? Are we not good enough for him? Senior Zheng wondered. Su Yang suddenly turned to look at Senior Zheng and said, "Don't worry, I didn't forget about you guys." An embarrassed smile appeared on Senior Zheng's face when he realized that Su Yang saw through everything. "Here, take this." Su Yang suddenly tossed a storage pouch at Senior Zheng. Senior Zheng hastily went to catch it. "What's this?" he asked afterward. "Open it and you'll see," said Su Yang with a smile on his face. Senior Zheng nodded his head and opened the storage pouch and retrieved whatever was inside. A couple of scrolls appeared. "This is..." Senior Zheng raised his eyebrows as he opened one of them. This is..." Once he realized what was written in these scrolls, Senior Zheng's jaw dropped to the ground. "These are the pill recipes for the Heaven Transcendence pill, Earth Advancement pills, and other pills I'm not familiar with," he exclaimed a moment later. "The Heavenly Swan Sect and the Profound Blossom Sect have no alchemy masters that can concoct these pills, and in the entirety of the Burning Lotus Sect, only Wang Shuren has the ability to concoct these pills. Therefore, I concocted the pills for them. The Divine Nature Garden, however, has plenty of experienced alchemy masters, so I won't be spoon-feeding you guys," said Su Yang. And he continued, "If you want to sell the pills as well, you must concoct your own." Senior Zheng immediately bowed to him and said, "Thank you for this opportunity, Su Yang. I'll keep these pill recipes safe even at the cost of my own life." Once Wang Shuren and Bai Lihua obtained their shares, Su Yang said, "I'm going to deliver half of these pills to the Zai family now. Lanjai, you can take the other half for the Profound Blossom Sect." After collecting half of the pill bottles left, Su Yang left the Profound Blossom Sect and went to the Zai family. Meanwhile, Liu Lanjai went to gather the remainder of the pills before storing them inside the treasury hall for the Profound Blossom Sect. "This place, it's getting filled to the brim with treasures." Liu Lanjai admired the luxurious sight in the treasury hall, something she didn't think would be possible. Ever since Su Yang started improving the Profound Blossom Sect, their treasury hall has been piling up with treasures and spirit stones on a daily basis. "We might need a bigger place to store the treasures at this rate," she mumbled. Sometime later, Liu Lanjai returned to the Yin-Yang Pavilion where Elder Sun was waiting for her. "Elder Sun, what's the matter?" she asked him. "Sect Master, it's almost time for our disciple examination again. Has it been a year already?" "Time passes by so fast these days," Liu Lanjai said. "Anyways, gather the other elders and meet me in the meeting area," she continued. "I understand." Elder Sun nodded. Meanwhile, at Snowfall City, the first thing Su Yang did after entering the Zai family's household was check on Zai Xingfeng's condition and their children. "How are you guys faring?" Su Yang asked her, who was still lying in bed with the twins sleeping soundly beside the bed in their own little cradle. "You can see we're doing perfectly fine," Zai Xingfeng said with a smile on her face. "How's your body? Let me inspect it." Zai Xingfeng nodded. After locking the doors, Su Yang removed the blankets covering her as well as her clothes. Su Yang proceeded to inspect the slit between her legs for a minute before nodding. "It's recovering at a good pace. It should be fully healed by next week." "I cannot wait. It's been a while since Zai Xingfeng said with a slightly bashful look on her face. After hundreds of cultivating sessions with Su Yang, Zai Xingfeng was beginning to say things she never thought she would ever say in her lifetime. Su Yang chuckled after hearing her words, and he said, "We'll do it as many times as you want after your body recovers." Zai Xingfeng nodded with a smile on her face. After spending some more time with Zai Xingfeng and their children that were sleeping peacefully in their cradles, Su Yang went to find Lord Zai, who was currently in another meeting. "Oh, look who we have here." Su Yang entered the meeting room without knocking and smiled upon seeing the familiar faces in the room. "Who dares?" The people there immediately turned to the door and shouted, However, when they saw Su Yang's handsome face, they immediately turned silent. Su Yang, what are you doing here? Su Zun looked at Su Yang with a surprised look on his face. I can say the same to you. What's this? A meeting between the four great families, Su Yang said. Inside the room, Su Zun and the other four great families were present. The Fang family that rules the western region, the Xiang family that rules the southern region, the Su family that rules the northern family, and lastly, the Long family that rules the eastern region, and also the only family from the four great family that Su Yang hasn't encountered before. You came at the perfect timing, Su Yang. We were just talking about the teleportation formation. Would you like to join us? Lord Zai did not mind his intrusion and even asked him to participate in their meeting. Chapter 830, broadening their views. Hearing Lord Zai's words, Su Yang shook his head and said, I'm only here to deliver a few things. As for the teleportation formation, it doesn't matter to me since I won't be here in the near future. Oh, right, Lord Zai nodded. Wait, what do you mean by that, Su Yang? That you won't be here in the near future? Su Zun suddenly asked him after hearing such puzzling words. Su Yang smiled and said, It's exactly as it sounds. I'm leaving this world in less than a year. Huh? Everybody in the room except Lord Zai raised their eyebrows in a puzzled manner, as this is their first time hearing about Su Yang's departure. Furthermore, they aren't aware of Su Yang's background in the divine heavens. Seeing their puzzled looks, Su Yang then said, Well, it's something like ascension. I'll be ascending to a different world in less than a year. Wait a minute, ascension, a different world. How can you drop such a bomb so casually? A middle-aged man suddenly stood up and exclaimed. Su Yang turned to look at this middle-aged man that he wasn't familiar with. The Long family, huh? If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. I'm feeling generous today, Su Yang said. What do you mean by ascension? And what's this about a different world? The middle-aged man from the Long family immediately asked. Su Yang quickly responded, If you think this is the only world in this boundless universe, then you're very narrow-minded. There are other worlds beyond the sky, and the place I'll be going to is called the divine heavens. As for ascension, well, it's not really ascension, since it's more like teleportation. Su Yang said, and he continued, In the southern continent, there is a silver mirror that might lead you to another cultivation world known as the divine heavens. In that place, cultivators are much stronger, and the world is countless times larger than this world. If I have to describe that place, it'd be the real cultivation world, while this place is only some backwater cultivation world. Su Yang explained to the four great families about the divine heavens. The four great families listened to Su Yang with gawking looks on their faces, looking like they'd just heard their dead ancestors speak from their grave, not daring to believe their ears. How can such a place possibly exist? And how would you know about it if you've never been there? Madame Xiang from the Xiang family stood up and pointed at Su Yang and continued, You're making all of this shit up. Su Yang looked at her with a nonchalant expression on his face and said, Whether you want to believe it or not is entirely up to you. I am just trying to broaden your views. Anyways, I'll leave the matter regarding the teleportation formation to you. I have an event to prepare for, Su Yang said as he tossed a couple of storage rings at Lord Zai. There are over 10,000 heaven transcendence pills, 25,000 earth advancement pills, and some other pills inside those storage rings. It'll last you for many decades if you use and sell them sparingly. The four great families swallowed nervously after hearing Su Yang's words, and they turned to look at the storage rings in Lord Zai's grasp with itchy fingers, as they could only imagine how much wealth these storage rings were worth. Sometime later, Su Yang left the place and went to spend some more time with Zai Xingfang and the twins. Why, Your Majesty? What Su Yang said regarding the divine heavens, is that true? The patriarch of the Long family asked Lord Zai after Su Yang left. Although Lord Zai had no solid evidence that the divine heavens exist, he believed Su Yang to the point where even if Su Yang told him that the heavens might fall in a week, he would not doubt it. "Yes, it's real," Lord Zai said. "Unbelievable." The four great families were in disbelief. If such a mythical place existed, how come nobody knew about it until today? And how did Su Yang learn of the divine heavens? He even sounded like he'd been there before. A few hours later, after their meeting with Lord Zai, the four great families returned to their own home. After returning home, the four great families began spreading news of the divine heavens across the entire eastern continent, greatly shocking everybody regardless of their background and position. "Did you hear? Apparently, there are other worlds out there besides this one." Of course. Everybody from their ancestors to their current generation has been talking about it ever since the four great families revealed its existence. Do you think such a place really exists? How did they find out? I don't know, man. It sounds too crazy to be true. I mean, another world where cultivators beyond the sovereign spirit realm exists, where the world is many times larger than our own world. It sounds like the fantasy of a madman. But all four great families revealed this information. Why would they reveal something like this if they don't believe it truly exists? In just a single day, nearly everybody in the eastern continent has heard of the divine heavens. The following day, another massive ripple spread around the eastern continent. Big news, everybody. Big news. The four great families just reveal more information regarding the divine heavens. Looks like Su Yang from the Profound Blossom Sect will be going to this world in less than a year. What? This sudden information shocked the people even more. Does this mean Su Yang will no longer be in this world after a year? That actually makes a lot of sense. If you consider his current standing, this world is simply too small for someone like him, who will be entering the sovereign spirit realm in just a couple of months. Good Lord, maybe this divine heavens place really exists. Thus, the divine heavens became a hot topic around the world, and it would remain that way for many years to come. Chapter 831, announcing his departure after spending a few days with Zai Xingfeng and their children. Su Yang returned to the Profound Blossom Sect to prepare for the upcoming breakthrough. However, the moment he arrived at the Yin-Yang Pavilion, Liu Lanjai approached him and said, "Su Yang, the disciples have been bombarding me ever since they found out that you'll be leaving this world in less than a year," Liu Lanjai said to him in a somewhat panicked voice. "Why did you announce that to the world? Now everybody knows you'll be gone soon. That might give people bad ideas if it hasn't already. After all, if people knew that Su Yang will be gone from the Profound Blossom Sect, they could plan to mess with them after he leaves, since there'll be nobody else to protect them." However, Su Yang shook his head and said, "Trust me, it won't matter even if the entire world knew of my departure, and it's not something that can be hidden forever. Eventually, people will find out that I am no longer in this world. It may not feel like it, but currently, the Profound Blossom Sect is one of the top powers in the Eastern continent, if not the entire world, and we have support from many other top sects and families." And he continued, "Not even mentioning our alliance with the Heavenly Swan Sect, Burning Lotus Sect, and the Zai family, we also have the Divine Nature Garden that will be indebted to us forever, as well as other powers from the other continents. These past few months, I have been tightening our relationship, IPS, with each other, and it's at the point where even if I leave now, nobody would be able to hurt the Profound Blossom Sect. Furthermore," Su Yang suddenly lifted his hand and pointed at her, "there's also you, the sect master of the Profound Blossom Sect. As long as you lead the sect, everything will be fine, I'm sure of it." Liu Lanjai was left speechless after hearing Su Yang's words. "Anyways, gather the disciples. Since they already know I'm leaving, I might as well give an official statement," Su Yang suddenly said a moment later. I understand." Liu Lanjai nodded her head and immediately summoned every single disciple in the sect using her jade slip. An hour later, every single Profound Blossom Sect disciple gathered in the outer court, filling the gathering area to the brim. This is probably about the sect master leaving this world. Do you think it's true? One of the disciples there mumbled. Who knows? I hope it's not true, since it'll be a devastating loss for the sect and the female disciples if the sect master leaves this world, as this means we'll no longer be able to feel his touch ever again. At least we managed to embrace him before he left. Can you imagine what the junior disciples must be feeling? Many of them won't be able to embrace him at all because they're still too young. And by the time they become adults, the sect master will be long gone. Luckily for me, I became an adult last month and gave my pure yin essence to the sect master. Sometime later, Su Yang appeared in the area and he hovered above the gathering area and the disciples so they could all see him properly. Thank you all for gathering here despite the short notice, Su Yang said to them after taking a deep breath. And he continued, as all of you may have heard by now, I will be leaving this world in about a year, and it's true. I won't stay in this world for much longer. So it was true after all. No, sect master, don't leave us. A commotion immediately erupted at the place, with many of the female disciples there crying out loud after Su Yang confirmed that the rumors were indeed true. Please, don't leave us, sect master. My body needs you. Sect master, please reconsider. I still need 2 years before I can cultivate. Or make an exception so the junior disciples can cultivate with you before you leave. Su Yang hovered in the air with a nonchalant look on his face as hundreds of disciples pleaded him to stay in the sect, but alas, that was not possible. However, Su Yang did not say anything and allowed the disciples to cry to their heart's content. Once the place began quieting down again, Su Yang cleared his throat and said in a calm voice, I understand your feelings very well, as I also wish to stay here, but there are things I must do in the divine heavens, so I cannot stay here. Sect master, will we get to see you ever again? Someone there suddenly asked him. Su Yang shook his head and said, unfortunately, I cannot answer that question because even I do not know if I will ever come back. Of course, I will definitely try to return to this place once I accomplish all of my goals, but whether I'll be able to return to this world or not after I leave this place is still unknown. Sect master, do you really have to leave? Another disciple then asked him in a timid voice. Yes, I do. Su Yang nodded with a serious look on his face. After a moment of silence, Su Yang continued, therefore, starting from this point forth and until it's time for me to leave, I will spend almost every day cultivating with you. What about us, the junior disciples, sect master? One of the junior disciples there suddenly asked, and everybody there turned their heads to look at the young disciple who just spoke, and to their surprise, this junior disciple was Chi Yue, who was only 2 years away from becoming an adult. Su Yang looked at Chi Yue with an apologetic smile on his face and he said, I'm sorry, but it's against the sect rules and I cannot ignore the rule just because I am the sect master. Furthermore, I cannot cultivate with someone underage. I know it sucks, but there's really nothing I can do in this situation. Chapter 832, a line that cannot be crossed. I see. I understand. Chi Yue nodded her head in a dispirited manner after hearing Su Yang's response. The other disciples felt their hearts tremble and felt the urge to hug her when they saw the sad look on Chi Yue's face, who looked like she was just rejected by her first love. But alas, there was nothing they could do in this situation, as this was a line that should not and cannot be crossed. Sometime later, the disciples continued to ask Su Yang questions. Sect master, just what kind of place is this divine heavens? One of them asked him. It's another cultivation world that exists within the boundless void, where cultivators are much stronger and the spiritual energy is much more abundant," said Su Yang. "Do you think we can also go to this place, sect master?" Another one suddenly asked. "It's possible if you enter the silver mirror that's on the southern continent." "Southern continent? That's impossible with the Jade Sea separating us." Su Yang shook his head and said, "Although this hasn't been announced yet, it will be in the near future, so I might as well tell you now." After taking a deep breath, he continued, "The Eastern continent is currently working on trying to connect all 5 continents together through a teleportation formation that will allow people to visit other continents. As of this moment, the Eastern continent is already connected with the Western continent, while the other 3 continents are still deciding whether they want to participate in this. Although it might be a bit costly, you have a chance to visit the other continents in the future." The place was silent since Su Yang started talking until even many moments after he finished, clearly shocked speechless by the reveal. "Any more questions?" Su Yang asked them. The disciples snapped out of their daze after hearing Su Yang's voice, and they continued asking him questions. The gathering lasted for almost 2 hours, and once it ended, the disciples returned to their own homes, albeit feeling a bit down. Many of them have tried to persuade Su Yang to remain in this world, but alas, their attempts were in vain as Su Yang remained resolute on leaving. After the gathering, whilst everyone went back to their daily life, a certain disciple went to the medicine hall with tears in her eyes. "Sister Lan, are you here?" Chi Yue knocked on her doors while shouting in a crying voice. A few seconds later, Su Liking opened the door with a puzzled look on her face. "What's the matter, Chi Yue? Why are you crying?" Su Liking, who did not participate in the gathering, asked her. Su Yang, he's leaving." Chi Yue could no longer hold back her tears and cried out loud. "He's leaving the sect, this world, to a place where I can no longer see him, and I won't be able to cultivate with him before he leaves." Oh, Su Liking quickly realized the problem and why Chi Yue was crying. Ever since she first met Su Yang, Chi Yue has been anticipating the day where she becomes an adult so that she could finally cultivate with him, even counting down every day until she's an adult. But with Su Yang leaving before she could reach maturity, that dream has suddenly become impossible to accomplish. Su Liking watched Chi Yue cry with a perplexed look on her face, and she wanted to comfort Chi Yue, but she couldn't find the strength to speak. After all, she will also be leaving this world with Su Yang, and she hasn't told Chi Yue about it yet. However, if she told Chi Yue now, who knows how she'll react, and Su Liking did not want to break her heart any further than it already is. "Sister Lan, why aren't you saying anything? Please tell me what I should do," Chi Yue suddenly asked her. I don't know what to say, Chi Yue. What do you want me to do? Su Yang will be leaving in less than a year, and it's impossible to stop him from leaving." Su Liking sighed. "I don't know. Can you try to persuade him to cultivate with me before he leaves? I will become an adult in less than 2 years. It shouldn't make any difference if he cultivates with me now, right?" "It's only 2 years," Chi Yue said. "I understand your feelings, Chi Yue, but that's not how things work. Even if you are a month from reaching your adulthood, you're still a minor and forbidden to dual cultivate. Or do you not mind offending the heavens by dual cultivating as a minor? The heavens are always watching, you know." Su Liking couldn't find a better excuse and decided to persuade her with the heaven's name. Chi Yue swallowed nervously after hearing Su Liking's words that definitely had an effect on her decision. However, in the end, Chi Yue remained adamant and said, "I don't care. As long as I get to cultivate with Su Yang, I will endure anything thrown my way. If it wasn't for Su Yang, I would have probably died from the 4-seasoned snake's poison." Chi Yue, Su Liking was speechless. While she knew how much Chi Yue loved Su Yang, she didn't know it was to the extent where she'd offend the heavens just to cultivate with him. "Please, Sister Lan, help me out. I really want to cultivate with Su Yang, even if it's the last thing I do, Qi Yue said. Su Liking sighed after hearing such words, and she said with a serious look on her face, I will speak with Su Yang, but I won't be asking him to cultivate with you since that's a line I don't want you or him to cross, do you understand? I understand. Qi Yue nodded as she wiped her tears. Follow me, Su Liking said, and the two of them left the medicine hall a few moments later, slowly making their way to the Yin-Yang Pavilion chapter 833. There's only one solution after arriving at the Yin-Yang Pavilion, Su Liking said to Qi Yue. Wait here for a bit. I'll go speak with Su Yang first. Qi Yue nodded and stayed outside while Su Liking went to look for Su Yang in his room. Su Yang, are you here? Su Liking knocked on his door a moment later. The door opened a few seconds later and Su Yang appeared in front of her with a smile on his face. How rare. I am usually the one that's visiting you. Do you need anything from me? I am about to catch up on the appointments I'd pushed back. I do need something, but it's not about me, Su Liking said in a sighing voice. Su Yang raised his eyebrows. Did something happen? Su Liking nodded and said, It's about Qi Yue. I see. Su Yang immediately realized the situation and said, There's nothing I can do. I cannot cultivate with a minor no matter the stances, you should know that. Of course I know that. I'm not here to ask you to cultivate with her. Instead, I'm wondering if there's anything else we can do for her, Su Liking said. And she continued, You may not know this, but Qi Yue and I were like sisters. I have known her parents even before I became a disciple at the Profound Blossom Sect, so I knew Qi Yue even before her birth, and she decided to follow me to the Profound Blossom Sect when she became old enough to cultivate. I also promised her parents that I'd take care of her for as long as I could before they passed away. This may sound horrible, but I'd forgotten about that, as we haven't really spoken to each other ever since the Profound Blossom Sect changed. I have been busy with my own things while she focused on her own training. To make matters worse, I have yet to tell her that I'd be leaving this world to go to the divine heavens with you, and I don't really have the courage to tell her anymore, Su Liking sighed. After a moment of silence, Su Yang spoke. Do you have any suggestions? What do you want me to do? Su Liking opened her mouth but didn't actually speak, acting hesitant to continue. Seeing this, Su Yang grabbed her hands before speaking in a gentle voice. It's okay, you can tell me. Su Liking nodded and said, This may sound very selfish of me, but if Qi Yue agrees, would you be willing to take her to the divine heavens with us? Su Yang smiled and said, I figured you'd say something like this. Qi Yue's outside right now, right? Ask her to come inside. I'll speak with her. Su Liking nodded and went outside for a minute before returning with Qi Yue by her side. Sect Master. Qi Yue stood before him with a timid look on her face, looking like a child who was able to be lectured. However, Su Yang smiled and said, Just call me Su Yang like you used to, and I didn't call you here to yell at you so you can calm down. Sit down. Su Yang pointed at the chair behind him. Qi Yue nodded and obediently took a seat. Su Yang then cleared his throat and said, So, you want to cultivate with me no matter what, right? Qi Yue quickly nodded again. However, I have already told you that I cannot cultivate with you because you're still a minor, and by the time you're an adult, I will have already left this world long ago. I know that, but what can I do? I really want to cultivate with you, Su Yang. I have wanted to cultivate with you ever since you helped me, Qi Yue said with a resolute face. Ever since Su Yang treated her and saved her life, Qi Yue has decided to give her everything to him, even her own body. In fact, everything she has done up to this point, especially her training, was to prepare for the day when she could finally cultivate with him so that she wouldn't disappoint him once they were on the bed. But alas, looking at the situation now, perhaps everything she has done might have been in vain. After a moment of silence, Su Yang said, No matter how much you want to cultivate with me, I cannot cultivate with you until you're an adult, so there's only one thing we can do in this situation." And he continued after a slight pause, "That is for you to come with me to the divine heavens. This way, I can cultivate with you once you become an adult." Chi Yue's eyes widened with surprise after hearing his words, surprised that she didn't think of this solution. One would expect Chi Yue to immediately nod her head, but she merely turned her head to look at Su Liking, clearly hesitant to leave Lan Liking's side. "Liking, this is your moment," Su Yang suddenly said, snapping Su Liking out of her daze. "Oh, right." Su Liking took a deep breath before looking at Chi Yue dead in the eyes and speaking in a serious manner. "Chi Yue, I have something important to tell you, but I would like to apologize first for not telling you this sooner." After taking another deep breath, Su Liking said, I will also be leaving this world to go to the divine heavens with Su Yang." "What?" Chi Yue's eyes widened with shock, and she exclaimed in a startled voice, Since when did you decide this, Sister Lan?" "A while ago," Su Liking said, and she continued, "And I am no longer Lan Liking. I have not only joined Su Yang's family, but I have also taken his surname, so I am now Su Liking." "Unbelievable," Chi Yue mumbled in a dazed voice. "I know you're probably thinking that I'd purposefully decided to leave you behind, but that's really not the case. It just slipped from my mind, and I am very sorry for that, especially since I'd promised your parents that I'd take care of you." Su Liking apologized to Chi Yue again, even lowering her head to show her sincerity. Chapter 834. "Why haven't you invited me to go with you yet, Sister Lan?" Chi Yue looked at Su Liking with a perplexed expression on her face, unsure how she should react to the situation. While she was sad that Su Liking had decided to leave this world without considering her, even forgetting about her for a moment, she couldn't really blame Su Liking for wanting to follow Su Yang, as she would have done the same. After a moment of silence, Su Yang said, "Chi Yue, you were one of my very first customers in the sect. One can even say you're one of my earliest supporters. If I didn't meet you, I might not have met Liking. Come with us to the divine heavens. This way you can cultivate with me once you become an adult, as well as stay with Su Liking. Of course, as I'd already said previously, there's no guarantee that you can come back to this world after we leave, so you have to be prepared to never come back." Chi Yue swallowed nervously, and she spoke in a low voice. "Is it really okay for me to follow you? Won't I become a bother?" "Why would you think that? You won't be a bother," Su Liking said to her. "Really?" Chi Yue asked again. Su Liking nodded and even went to hug her. "Of course. And it's not like it's just going to be 3 of us. There'll be plenty more people coming to the divine heavens with us." After a moment of silence, Chi Yue nodded her head and said, "Okay, I will follow you to the divine heavens. No, please let me follow you." Thus, Chi Yue decided to follow Su Yang and Su Liking to the divine heavens. "Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and leave for now, as I'm already running late on the appointments. The 2 of you can stay here and talk more if you want." "Okay, thank you for your hard work, Su Yang," Su Liking said to him. Su Yang left the yin-yang pavilion shortly later and began satisfying the disciples in the sect, and as one would have expected after learning that Su Yang will be leaving soon, the female disciples acted more aggressively during their cultivation, even lasting longer than they normally would. Su Yang, tilde. The disciple only stopped once they fully lost consciousness. "Please, don't leave," the disciple suddenly mumbled, and Su Yang could see tears forming in the disciple's eyes as they slept. "I'm sorry." Su Yang wiped her tears before meeting with the next disciple. However, the same scene repeated again and again, and it continued for the rest of the day, with almost 1 in every 3 disciples crying while they cultivated with him. As for the other 2/3, they all cultivated until their bodies literally couldn't take it anymore, as they didn't want to regret not cultivating with him enough after he leaves. Furthermore, because he had pushed a week's worth of appointments back for Ku, Su Yang decided to not return to the yin-yang pavilion at night and proceeded to cultivate with the disciples all night. Even when morning arrived, Su Yang did not return to the yin-yang pavilion and continued to cultivate with the next disciple, and he continued to do this for an entire week before taking a day to rest. 2 weeks later, Su Yang visited an old friend. "It's me, Su Yang," Su Yang said as he knocked on the door. A few moments later, a pretty young lady opened the door and appeared before him with a clearly upset expression on her face. Seeing this, Su Yang spoke with a smile on his face. "What's the matter, Lu Lifen? You don't look so happy." "Of course, and you know very well why I am upset," Lu Lifen said to him with a frown, and she continued, "Why didn't you tell me sooner that you are going to leave this world? And why haven't you invited me to go with you yet?" Lu Lifen was clearly more upset about Su Yang not telling her to go with him than the fact that he was leaving this world. After a moment of silence, Su Yang sighed. "Lu Lifen, you probably think I had forgotten about you or something, but that is not the case. You're one of the earliest partners I have had in this life, and it was a memorable one. There was no way I'd forget about you." "Then why haven't you told me anything about your departure?" Su Yang then said. "Lu Lifen, let me ask you this. Do you want to follow me to the divine heavens? Leave everything behind in this world and follow me? Do you really love me?" One would expect Lu Lifen to immediately respond with a yes, but Lu Lifen remained silent for a minute before mumbling in a low voice. "What makes you think that I don't love you?" Su Yang then said. "Even though you claim that you love me and that you will make me fall for you, do you really believe that? I know when a woman truly has feelings for me or if they just want to cultivate with me, and after cultivating many times with you throughout the months, I could only feel your love for dual cultivation." Lu Lifen opened her mouth, but no words came out. Su Yang then continued, "Allow me to ask you another question, Lu Lifen. Did your parents tell you to fall in love with me, just like how they told you to participate in the chamber of embrace?" Lu Lifen's eyes widened with surprise after hearing Su Yang's words. After a moment of silence, Su Yang said to her, "Honestly, I don't blame you for it, nor will I refuse to cultivate with you because of it. No matter why you're here, as long as you're a disciple of the Profound Blossom Sect, I will treat you like I treat every other disciple, with love and passion. So, do you still want to cultivate with me?" Chapter 835. Yang Pagoda. After hearing Su Yang's words, Lu Lifen nodded with a guilty expression on her face. A few moments later, they entered the house and began cultivating. Almost as though she forgot about their awkward situation not long ago, Lu Lifen moaned to her heart's content, clearly very satisfied and absorbed in their dual cultivation. About 3 hours later, Lu Lifen laid on the bed with an exhausted expression on her face, and she mumbled as Su Yang got off the bed, "I'm sorry, Su Yang. I thought I loved you, I truly did, but our session just now proved myself wrong, and that the thing I truly loved was your techniques, not the person himself." Lu Lifen suddenly began sobbing on the bed. "You don't have to feel guilty about anything. It's a common occurrence for those who cultivate with me, especially when it's their first time. Sometimes I tell myself to do the bare minimum so you girls won't experience these confusing feelings, but I also cannot bear to half-ass dual cultivation since I do it with pride and passion. Although this may sound hypocritical of me, I want my partners to experience the best of what their bodies can possibly endure, even if that might cause some misunderstandings." Su Yang sighed. "No, please, don't blame yourself, Su Yang. I am truly glad that you're treating us like this, and while I can't speak for the other girls, I believe we all share similar thoughts, so please, continue doing your best," Lu Lifen said to him. Su Yang nodded his head, and he left the place shortly after, continuing to his next appointment. Time passed quickly, and the day of Su Yang's breakthrough to sovereign spirit realm was fast approaching. During these few weeks, Su Yang cultivated with every disciple in the sect more than 3 times, including his own family members. Of course, this meant that Su Yang had barely any breaks of rest for himself, as he would hop from house to house, cultivating with disciples without stop. "What's the matter, Su Yang?" Liu Lanjai looked at him, who just entered her room. "I'll be attempting my breakthrough in 3 days, so for these next 3 days I'm going to rest and prepare myself for the breakthrough." Su Yang said to her, "It's that time already. Heavens, time passes by so fast nowadays," Liu Lanjai said with a surprised look, and she continued, "I understand. I'll make sure the disciples don't bother you until then. What about the people waiting outside the sect? Should we just let them keep waiting? They have been waiting outside for weeks now, well, at least the people in the front." Ever since Su Yang announced his need for dual cultivation partners, female cultivators from all over the eastern continent traveled and gathered in front of the Profound Blossom Sect, with some of them even camping outside like it was a camping trip. If one looked outside the Profound Blossom Sect from inside the sect, they would be able to see a sea of people in the front of the entrance that stretched miles into the distance. Hell, if one looked closely, they would still be able to see the line at the end of the horizon. For this reason, the sect elders guarding the gates had closed the gates and began guarding the gate from the inside until further notice. Su Yang pondered for a moment before nodding his head and speaking, "You can start letting them in. However, let them inside one by one so the sect doesn't overflow. It'd be for the best if they made a single file line to the Yang Pagoda, where I'll be spending the next 3 days resting." Liu Lanjai nodded. "I'll handle everything. You can rest assured and relax until it's time for your breakthrough." Su Yang left the Yin-Yang Pavilion shortly after and went to this Yang Pagoda that was newly built just for Su Yang's breakthrough, even being named after him. It was a spiraling pagoda that had exactly 9 floors, with the first 8 floors completely empty, and the 9th floor a massive bedroom with the most luxurious bed available in this world. In fact, this bed was made of priceless treasures that will boost the cultivation of those who cultivate on it, and it was large enough to fit a dozen people on it at once and still have plenty of room to move around. Su Yang had this bed specifically made for his breakthrough, even asking the Zai family to gather as the treasures for him. The bed took almost 2 weeks and 100 spirit stones to build, making it the most expensive bed in this world. But in the end, it was well worth it, at least in Su Yang's eyes. After reaching the 9th floor in the Yang Pagoda, Su Yang sat on the floor and retrieved the Hellfire Seed. "The Hellfire Seed will help me break through to the sovereign spirit realm, but that's not enough. I also wanted to enhance my Yang Qi so I can begin cultivating my extreme Yang Qi, which will be helpful when I return to the divine heavens." Su Yang mumbled to himself. A few moments later, Su Yang retrieved a bottom of red liquid and dropped the Hellfire Seed into this bottle. The Hellfire Seed immediately began glowing red and absorbing the red liquid. This will enhance the Hellfire Seed's effect by at least 50%, but it's not enough. Once the Hellfire Seed absorbed all of the liquid in the bottle, which took almost half of the day, Su Yang retrieved a small bottle of red powder that appeared to be glowing like flames and covered the Hellfire Seed pill with the red powder. Poof! The Hellfire Seed immediately ignited with flames, but the flame disappeared as quickly. A few minutes later, once the Hellfire Seed absorbed the red powder, the Hellfire Seed's appearance made a drastic change, as it looked like there was a fiery hell within the pill. Chapter 836, Fiery Hellfire Seed. Fiery Hellfire Seed. This should do it. Any more and even my cultivation technique won't be able to handle it. Su Yang looked at the enhanced Hellfire Seed between his fingers with a satisfied look on his face. This fiery hellfire seed is approximately 125% stronger than the original hellfire seed. Forget about a heaven spirit realm cultivator. This fiery hellfire seed is enough to kill even peak spirit sovereign realm cultivators. The only reason Su Yang dares to consume treasure was because of his celestial body refining scripture that will help him absorb and store most of the spiritual energy, allowing his body to contain more than its limit. Furthermore, the 100 poisons body that he'd obtained from Zai Xingfang's 1,000 poisons body would also help him suppress the fiery hellfire seed to some extent, since it is also a toxic treasure. However, despite these two powerful things to protect him from the fiery hellfire seed, it was still not enough to protect him to a reasonable degree where he won't explode the instant he swallowed it. The fiery hellfire seed is just the beginning. I will need to prepare some other medicines to help me fight against the fiery hellfire seed's destructive properties. Su Yang proceeded to take out ingredients one after the other and started concocting pills. Meanwhile, at the entrance of the Profound Blossom Sect, Liu Lanjai hovered before the sea of female cultivators. The sect master is flying. When did she break through to the heavenly spirit realm? The sect elders were shocked when Liu Lanjai suddenly flew off the ground and towards the clouds. Indeed, Liu Lanjai had managed to realize her dreams and break through to the heavenly spirit realm just a few days ago, thanks to Su Yang's continuous effort by keeping her stomach filled with his yang qi at all times. Ahem! Liu Lanjai cleared her throat in an obvious manner, swiftly silencing the rowdy place. Thank you all for coming to the Profound Blossom Sect and participating in this special occasion. While the sect master, Su Yang, still needs 3 more days to prepare himself, he has decided to open the gates for you. But before I start letting you inside the sect, allow me to explain a few rules you must follow. Failure to obey these rules will get you to the back of the line and even removed from the queue permanently. In other words, you will no longer be able to cultivate with Su Yang. First and foremost, once I open the gates to my Profound Blossom Sect, you will all enter in an orderly fashion and the queue will be single-filed. If you step out of the queue and go somewhere for any reason, your position will be considered lost and you will have to go to the back of the line. Secondly, there will be no pushing or queue skipping regardless of your background. If caught, you will be sent to the back of the line, perhaps even removed. 3. You must be an adult in order to cultivate with Su Yang. Don't even think of trying to hide your age because we will have you use the bone age totem before you're allowed to cultivate with Su Yang. Although it sucks that you're underage, please understand that there's nothing we can do for you. After Liu Lanjai's third sentence, a lot of people could be seen turning around and walking away with dispirited expressions on their faces. It was quite a shocking sight for the others, as the number of minors that wanted to cultivate with Su Yang was incredibly high and in the hundreds. Liu Lanjai didn't mind these minors leaving and continued to speak. Next, you must be a cultivator with a cultivation base of at least 6th level Profound Spirit Realm. We're telling you this for a good reason, since cultivators below this level won't be able to endure Su Yang's yang qi after he has his breakthrough, and you can potentially even hurt yourself, something Su Yang won't allow no matter what. Once again, we'll be using a spiritual totem to measure your cultivation level so that you won't harm yourself. A familiar scene repeated after Liu Lanjai's ended her sentence, and the female cultivators that didn't meet the cultivation requirements turned around and walked away with depressed looks. And at a single glance, one could easily tell that there were more cultivators who lacked the cultivation to participate in the event more than the number of cultivators who didn't meet the age requirements. However, despite a couple of thousand people leaving the queue, the place was still filled to the brim with people, and the sea of people didn't appear to have gotten smaller even a little bit, as those who left were quickly filled by the people in the back and beyond the horizon. Finally, even if you meet all of the qualifications, Su Yang is not obligated to cultivate with you and can refuse to cultivate with you for whatever reason. He didn't say this, but it can happen, so be prepared. Now, starting from the people in the front, form a single file line and follow the sect elder who will be leading you to the location for this event. Once Liu Lanjai ended her sentence, the gates to the Profound Blossom Sect began opening. However, it only opened slightly a small gap that was just enough room to fit a single person at a time, making it easier for the guests to form a single file line. Immediately after the gates opened, the people began fighting for the front of the line without being obnoxious about it, which was a rare sight, especially with the number of people there. Soon, the people followed one of the sect elders working there to the Yang Pavilion. Wow, so Su Yang is inside this building right now. The female cultivators could already feel their bodies shivering from excitement just at the sight of the building, and they proceeded to continue waiting for Su Yang to finish his preparations. Chapter 837, Swallowing the Hellfire Seed inside the building. Su Yang could feel the presence of people gathering outside the building, but he ignored them and continued to prepare himself for the grand breakthrough. 2 days later, Su Yang summoned everybody within the Su family. Outside the building, the female cultivators could see a bunch of beauties entering the Yang pagoda, dumbfounding them. Hey, who was that just now? How come she gets to go inside? One of the female cultivators in line asked the sect elders there. The sect elders turned to look at the beautiful young woman entering the Yang pagoda. That's Elder Lan. She's a sect elder, said one of the sect elders. Oh, then what about her? Another female cultivator pointed to Sun Jingjing. That's also a sect elder. That group of ladies who just entered wasn't wearing the Profound Blossom Sect's uniform. What about them? Oh, that's the sect master's family. They're his partners, the sect elders said after looking at the group of beauties from the holy central continent. Oh, I see. Wait, what? Su Yang's family? Does this mean they're his official partners? His wives? The female cultivators were shocked to learn of this. I guess. 2 of them even got imprignated by the sect master. Heavens! So Her Highness Zai Xingfeng wasn't the only one to be imprignated by Su Yang. While the female cultivators spoke with each other to pass time, Su Yang's family quickly gathered in the Yang pagoda. As for Wang Xuren and those who lived outside of the Profound Blossom Sect, Su Yang notified days in advance, so they all arrived at the Profound Blossom Sect just a few days ago. Therefore, Wang Xuren, Bai Lihua, Su Yin, and even Zai Xingfeng showed up in the Yang pagoda. What's the matter, Su Yang, calling all of us here the day before your breakthrough? Sun Jingjing asked him. Are we going to cultivate? Zhu Menji chuckled. Su Yang smiled and said, no, at least not yet. I am going to spend the rest of the day resting. Tomorrow, I will consume the hellfire seed and breakthrough. Once that happens, my body will be filled with Yang Qi, and I will need to immediately release them. Of course, the Yang Qi will be more potent at first since it's still fresh, and I am going to let you ladies experience it first before I start cultivating with the others. The ladies there immediately grew excited after hearing his words, and Wang Xuren couldn't help but ask. I saw the line outside, Su Yang. There are tens of thousands of female cultivators waiting to cultivate with you. Can you really handle so many people at once? Su Yang nodded. I will be once I consume the hellfire seed. Is the hellfire seed really that powerful? Lion Li asked. Yes, and if I don't quickly get rid of the excess Yang Qi in my body, it'll damage my cultivation, said Su Yang. Anyways, just make sure you're here when I consume the hellfire seed. It'll greatly benefit your cultivation. The ladies nodded. I'll stay here with you tonight, Su Liking suddenly said. Oh, good idea, Sister Liking. I'll stay here too, Sun Jingjing said. I have to take care of the baby, so I'll come back in the morning tomorrow. Wu Jingjing said. Me too. Zhu Menji also said. My grandfather is taking care of the twins so I can stay here. Zai Xingfeng said. I'm going to come back later after I wash myself. Wang Shuren said before disappearing. In the end, only half of the girls remained in the room. Su Liking, Su Yin, Sun Jingjing, Fang Zhelan, Fang Xiaoru, Bai Lihua, Zhang Zhu Ying, and Qin Liangyu. Su Yang, there's no point for me to be here since I won't benefit from your Yang Qi. I also don't want to waste your Yang Qi, Yu said to him. However, Su Yang said, what are you talking about? Even if you won't benefit from the Yang Qi, you can still enjoy the cultivation. I'm not worried about not having enough Yang Qi, I'm worried that I won't have enough partners. Anyways, don't worry about wasting Yang Qi and just enjoy the occasion, Su Yang said to her. Yu nodded her head in the end. Sometime later, Su Yang laid on the bed and closed his eyes to rest even though the sun was still out with the others following him soon after. Time passed quickly for Su Yang and his family, but for the female cultivators waiting outside, these last few hours felt like an eternity. Early in the morning at sunrise, everybody from the Su family gathered at the Yang Pagoda once again. Su Yang, when should I start letting the guests inside the building? Liu Lanjai asked him. You can open it now, but let our disciples enter first. The Profound Blossom Sect has priority after all. Su Yang responded. Liu Lanjai nodded her head before summoning all of the disciples in the sect that qualified to cultivate with Su Yang to the Yang Pagoda. When the female cultivators saw a massive group of disciples enter the Yang Pagoda, they were overwhelmed with envy. However, nobody there complained since it was only normal for the disciples of his own sect to have priority. Ready when you are, Su Yang, Liu Lanjai said to him. Su Yang nodded, and he proceeded to take out the fiery hellfire seed and everything else he needed for his breakthrough, covering the space in front of him with medicine and treasures. Su Yang then took a seat and took a deep breath. I'm going to consume the hellfire seed last. A few seconds later, Su Yang picked up one of the items and ate it. After spending a few moments to absorb it, he went to pick another and ate that as well. Su Yang repeated this process until only the hellfire seed remained. Meanwhile, the others in the room watched him from the bed. I'm going to start my breakthrough now. Yu, make a defensive formation around me. After Yu created the formation, Su Yang tossed the fiery hellfire seed into his mouth and swallowed it. Chapter 838, Sovereign Spirit Realm Boom. Su Yang's body suddenly exploded with flames the moment he swallowed the fiery hellfire seed, causing the formation to shake violently. Su Yang! Su Yang! Are you okay, Su Yang? All of the girls exclaimed simultaneously in a shocked voice when they saw Su Yang explode like a bomb. Calm down, he's fine, Yu said to them after her initial surprise. I can still sense his aura. The ladies took a deep breath after hearing Yu's words, but the formation remained engulfed in flames for many minutes, keeping their anxiety at the top. Half an hour later, the fire finally began subduing, and the others could see Su Yang's figure again. However, when they saw Su Yang again, he was completely naked from head to toe, and even his luscious long hair and eyebrows were completely burned away by the flames. Su Liking found this scene very nostalgic since the same thing happened when Su Yang consumed the pure Yang flower 2 years ago. A few minutes after Su Yang reappeared, his hair began growing back, returning to its original length, but it looked more silky and healthy than previously. However, a few seconds later, to the lady's surprise, his hair was engulfed in flames and burned until there was nothing left. This scene repeated itself many times over the next few hours, and the ladies watched as Su Yang's hair experienced rebirths over 100 times. A couple more hours later, Su Yang's body suddenly began turning red with veins popping from all over his body. Furthermore, these veins were glowing crimson, almost like there was lava flowing within them. Heavens, I cannot imagine what he must be experiencing right now. It looks very painful, Sun Jingjing mumbled in a dazed voice. A few minutes later, the veins on Su Yang's body suddenly began bursting, startling the ladies. However, when everyone there expected blood, flames spewed out from them instead. Su Yang, are you okay? Zai Xingfeng couldn't help but ask him. I am fine, Su Yang responded in a mosquito-like voice. At this moment, Su Yang looked like a broken pipe with holes all over his body and flames spraying out of these holes. It was a horrifying sight to say the least for these ladies. However, Su Yang's injuries began healing over time, and after another hour, his appearance returned to normal minus the hair as they were still missing. A few more minutes later, Su Yang's hair began regrowing again, but they looked a little different than usual. Our red hair. The lady's eyes widened when Su Yang suddenly grew red hair. His red hair glistened as if there were stars living in it, and the hair itself gave a fiery appearance, almost like it was burning inside. However, Su Yang's red hair did not last long as it was burned away a few moments later. Once his hair returned, it was back to its original black color, but its glistening appearance remained. This time, his hair stayed permanently and would no longer disappear. After the drastic changes that lasted for many hours, Su Yang finally calmed down and no longer spewed fire from his body, and he proceeded to cultivate peacefully as though everything was normal. However, the ladies didn't dare to let their guard down and remained vigilant just in case Su Yang's body did something crazy again. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Almost 24 hours have passed since Su Yang consumed the fiery hellfire seed. It's happening, Kyu suddenly said, snapping the ladies out of their daze. Crack, crack, crack. The formation Kyu created around Su Yang began cracking, and when Kyu saw this, she immediately created a few more formations around him. Bang! The first formation shattered into countless pieces a minute after Kyu created the other formations. However, these formations were also beginning to crack. Seeing this, Kyu activated her Divine Lord Realm cultivation base and created a small but sturdy formation around Su Yang. Boom! While the formation didn't crack this time, it could not block all of the impacts, which caused the entire Yang pagoda to shake violently, shocking the disciples waiting inside the building and the female cultivators waiting outside. Kyu, you can remove the formation, Su Yang suddenly said to her a moment later once the place calmed down. Kyu nodded. Once the formation was removed, Su Yang slowly stood up with a tyrannical aura that only belonged to sovereign spirit realm cultivators around him. He then turned to look at the ladies on the bed with a smile on his face. I'm going to do this in the order I met you ladies, so Liking will be first, Su Yang said. Su Liking swallowed nervously after hearing his words, and she pointed at the raging boner between his legs and spoke. Su Yang, are you sure you're okay? Su Yang looked down at his own rod, which had a fiery appearance and was also glowing red, almost like his body in the beginning. Don't worry, it's perfectly safe. While it might feel a little hotter than usual, it won't do any damage to your body. Su Yang chuckled. Su Liking trusted Su Yang and nodded her head. A few moments later, Su Liking removed her clothes while the other ladies got off the bed to make space for them. The rest of you should also take off your clothes since this won't take long, Su Yang said to the others as he got on the bed and approached Su Liking, who already had her legs spread wide open. Su Yang didn't bother to do any foreplay and directly poked Su Liking's entrance with his rod without entering her cave. Ah, so hot. Su Liking was initially startled by the heat coming from Su Yang's stiff rod, but she quickly realized that it wasn't painful in the slightest. And to Su Liking's surprise, almost like it reacted to the heat, her little sister immediately began drooling with yin qi. Are you ready, Liking? Su Yang asked her. I am. Su Liking nodded with a loving expression on her face, Feeling very nostalgic in this situation, chapter 839, Burning Hot Rod. Once he received Su Liking's approval, Su Yang pushed his literal burning hot rod into her cave, shoving it deep inside her body. SSSSSS. A sizzling sound could immediately be heard after Su Yang penetrated Su Liking, almost as though his hot rod was cooking her meat. Tilde. Su Liking's body jolted with shock when Su Yang's burning rod touched her inner walls and evaporated some of her yin qi, giving her body an indescribable feeling, almost like she was sent to heaven and back. However, despite Su Yang's burning rod that was hot enough to evaporate even her yin qi, her body itself was left completely unharmed, and it felt like she had a hot stone stuffed inside her body. Su Yang began thrusting his hips soon after he penetrated Su Liking, sending waves of pleasure into her body. The other ladies watching in the background swallowed nervously after seeing this. I can only imagine what that must feel like. Zhu Menji mumbled in a dazed voice, wondering to herself if Su Yang's burning rod felt any different than his flaming dragon technique that literally engulfed his sword with alchemy flames. Smacking noises echoed in the room as Su Yang's body slapped against Su Liking's soft buttcheeks every time he shoves his meatstick deep inside her body, poking the end of her pink tunnel with his burning rod in a rhythmic manner. 3 minutes later, Su Yang said, "I can't hold it anymore, I'm going to release it." Although she was surprised that Su Yang could only last 3 minutes, Su Liking nodded her head and said, "Release it inside me." Tilde. Su Liking moaned loudly as Su Yang filled her stomach with his yang qi. "It's still coming." However, Su Liking quickly realized that Su Yang was still releasing his yang qi inside her even half a minute later, filling her more than her small hole could possibly hold. Su Yang unplugged his rod from Su Liking after spending an entire minute cumming inside her cave. He then turned to look at Sun Jingjing and said to her, "Come here." Sun Jingjing immediately nodded her head and rushed to get onto the bed while Su Liking rested at the corner of the bed. Despite having cultivated with Su Yang for less than 5 minutes, she felt oddly exhausted. Once Sun Jingjing was on the bed, Su Yang immediately grabbed her by the hips and pulled her body towards his rod. Tilde. So fierce. Sun Jingjing moaned loudly, feeling Su Yang's glowing red rod rubbing against her already soaked slit. Yin qi gushed from Sun Jingjing's cave with every thrust from Su Yang. A couple of minutes later, Su Yang released his yang qi inside Sun Jingjing, bloating her stomach with a ridiculous amount of yang qi. "I feel so full." Sun Jingjing laid on the bed with a satisfied expression and her stretched cave drooling with yang qi. If one looked closely at Su Yang's yang qi, it wasn't completely white, and there appeared to be a little red color mixed within. "Zhu Ying, come over here." Hearing her name, Zhang Zhu Ying approached the bed and kneeled on the bed on all four and said, "Go ahead, Su Yang. I'm ready whenever you are." Tilde. Su Yang shoved his glowing red rod inside Zhang Zhu Ying's tight cave from behind. He then firmly grasped onto her soft buttocks and began moving his hips, spreading her inner walls with every thrust while poking her sensitive areas with the tip of his rod. Tilde. Zhang Zhu Ying moaned loudly as Su Yang pounded her like a dog. A few minutes later, Su Yang released his yang qi inside her, overfilling it once again. After Zhang Zhu Ying, Su Yang cultivated with Wu Jingjing and Zhu Menji at the same time before cultivating with Fang Zhelan and Fang Xiaoro. Once these 4 ladies are lying on the bed with their holes dripping with yang qi, Su Yang turned to look at Wang Xuren and her mature body and said, "You're next, Xuren. My pleasure." Wang Xuren licked her lips as she approached the bed. Tilde on. Ooh. A T-full expression hung on Wang Xuren's face as she experienced Su Yang's burning rod from the beginning, until to the very end when Su Yang released his Yang Qi inside her body, and her large breasts shook violently every time Su Yang's hips smashed into her large and round buttocs. Plop! Wang Xuren's body collapsed onto the bed like a lifeless corpse afterward. Since Su Yang has released plenty of Yang Qi up to this point, he was beginning to have more control over his body, allowing him to hold his Yang Qi and cultivate longer, and with Wang Xuren, he'd managed to last a whopping 10 minutes despite her tight and moist cave that threatened to squeeze him dry with every thrust. After Wang Xuren, Su Yang cultivated with Qin Liangyu and her exotic body. Lian Li was next in line to cultivate with Su Yang, but since she was still pregnant and with a large belly, Su Yang didn't dare to move too aggressively and cultivated with her slowly. 15 minutes later, Su Yang filled Lian Li's cave as well, bloating her stomach more than before. After Lian Li was Su Yin, who has been itching to cultivate with Su Yang for a while now. Tilde. Su Yin locked hands with Su Yang while they cultivated, not releasing her gasp until he came inside her body. "Come here, Zinger," Su Yang said to Zai Xingfeng. Once Zai Xingfeng was on the bed, Su Yang inserted his still burning rod into her small hole while sucking her flawless breasts at the same time. Tilde haya tilde a tilde. Zai Xingfeng quickly filled the room with her moaning 20 minutes later. Bai Lihua replaced Zai Xingfeng's place and began cultivating with Su Yang. Tilde. Bai Lihua rode Su Yang like a horse until she could feel something hot gushing into her cave. And in just 2 short hours, Su Yang had managed to cultivate with almost everyone in the Su family and release many buckets of Yang Qi while he was at it. "You're next, Kyu." Su Yang looked at her with an enchanting smile on his face. Thank you for listening to the story on KevinAudio.com Chapter 840. This is just the beginning. Hearing her name, Kyu took a deep breath and approached the bed that was soaked in Yin Qi and Yang Qi. After lying on the bed on her back, Kyu lifted her legs high into the air and held them with her arms, provoking Su Yang with her beautiful butthole. Su Yang's burning hot rod twitched a little at this sight, and he immediately approached her tight rear end with his stiff hot rod. Tilde. Kyu moaned in a surprised voice when she felt something massive and hot spreading her cheeks and entering the cave between them. "It's so hot." Kyu's body trembled, feeling as though all of the coldness in her body was being absorbed by Su Yang's hot rod that was inside her butt. A moment later, Su Yang began moving his hips, shoving his hot rod in and out of her body. SSSSS. Every time Su Yang moved, Yin Qi would gush from Kyu's front entrance and drool onto Su Yang's hot rod before quickly evaporating from the profound heat. After half an hour of non-stop thrusting, Su Yang released his Yang Qi inside Kyu, filling her butthole to the max. Su Yang unplugged himself from Kyu and turned to look at the group of naked ladies lying around the bed. He then said to them, "This is just the beginning." After saying such words, Su Yang looked for the least exhausted from them and started cultivating with her. In this case, it was Zhu Menji who recovered the most. Tilde, you're stirring the Yang Qi inside me, Tilde. Zhu Menji moaned as Su Yang plugged his totem inside her, stirring the Yang Qi inside her body with it. Half an hour later, Su Yang pushed the old Yang Qi out of Zhu Menji's body by refilling her with even more Yang Qi. Tilde. Zhu Menji moaned loudly as her body was overwhelmed by pleasure, and to her surprise, she could feel her cultivation base rising at a rapid rate, something that didn't occur during their first session. "Looks like the fiery hellfire seed is finally taking effect," Su Yang said with a smile on his face, yet his sword remained as stiff as ever without any signs of calming down, and he went to look for his next partner. Su Yang proceeded to cultivate with his partners without stopping for the next 3 days until they could no longer continue, releasing his yang qi over 1,000 times during this time. Furthermore, everyone besides Kiyu had their cultivation base increased by at least 1 level. Even Lion Li, who was at the first-level Sovereign Spirit Realm, managed to reach the second-level Sovereign Spirit Realm, which shocked her greatly. Take some time to rest. I'm going to cultivate for a bit before I start cultivating with the other disciples. Su Yang said to his family before sitting down and cultivating. Of course, his dragon remained awake the entire time. An hour later, his family took a quick shower that was on the same floor, washing the yang qi that was sticking all over their body but leaving the yang qi that was inside their body untouched. Once they were feeling refreshed, they dressed and left the Yang Pagoda, returning to their own rooms to focus on absorbing the abundant amount of Yang Qi remaining in their body. Half an hour after his family left, Su Yang stopped cultivating and started calling the disciples that were waiting patiently on the previous upstairs. 10 disciples went to the top floor a few moments later and immediately stripped their clothes. "Give me a second." Su Yang grabbed the large blanket on the bed that was soaked in Yang Qi and Yin Qi and pulled it off the bed, tossed it inside his storage ring, before replacing it with a brand new blanket. "Come, I'll satisfy you all at once," Su Yang said to the disciples. A few moments later, Su Yang shoved his burning hot rod inside one of the disciples and began pleasuring the others with his hand. The room was quickly filled with moaning from the disciples. Meanwhile, the female cultivators waiting outside noticed that the line had finally started moving after 3 days. It finally moved. "I wonder how long it'll take before it's our turn. Be patient. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity." The female cultivators expected the line to remain still for another 3 days before moving again, but to their surprise, the line moved up slightly after an hour, and it continued to move at the same rate for the next few days. In just a week, the line moved up enough for the female cultivators that did not belong to the sect to step foot inside the Yang Pagoda. The female cultivators were ecstatic about their progress. At this rate, they will get to cultivate with Su Yang after another week. Of course, this only applied to the girls waiting in the front of the line. For the female cultivators in the back, they might have to wait a month or 2 before they reach the Yang Pagoda. Despite that, nobody left the line. In fact, the line continued to grow as more female cultivators arrived at the Profound Blossom Sect. 1 day, 3 days, 1 week, 2 weeks. Half a month passed in the blink of an eye for Su Yang, who cultivated without much rest this entire time. After cultivating with the last disciple in the Profound Blossom Sect, he looked down at his rod. Although it was still as stiff as it was in the beginning, it was no longer as red or as hot as before. "Thank you, Sect Master, for your hard work." The disciples bowed to him before leaving the Yang Pagoda. And before he started calling the female cultivators upstairs, Su Yang took a full day of rest and absorbed the yin qi in the room, which was so abundant that it had turned into a mist that filled the room. Chapter 841. A familiar face after spending almost a whole day absorbing the yin qi in the room. Su Yang took a deep breath and opened his eyes. At this rate, I might even reach the second-level Sovereign Spirit Realm before the effects of the fiery hellfire seeds fully disappear. Once he was prepared, Su Yang called the next cultivators in line upstairs, and since all of the disciples in the Profound Blossom Sect had already cultivated with him, it was finally the female cultivators' turn. After waiting weeks, it was finally their turn. Thus, when the first 10 female cultivators downstairs heard Su Yang's voice, telling them to go upstairs, they were immediately overwhelmed with joy and nervousness. A few moments later, 10 female cultivators walked upstairs, and the first thing they saw was Su Yang's handsome face before looking down at the massive bulge between his legs that stood up like it was threatening to pierce the heavens. "Welcome to the Profound Blossom Sect, and thank you for your patience," Su Yang said to them with a handsome smile on his face. While these 10 female cultivators were by no means top beauties like most of the female disciples in the sect, they were not ugly either. If one had to describe them, they were just average-looking girls with common-looking appearances. However, Su Yang didn't mind their appearances nor the fact that he wasn't cultivating with beauties, as it was never his standard to cultivate with beauties alone. HL, Sect Master. The female cultivators bowed to him politely, acting like timid rabbits before their predator. While the disciples in the Profound Blossom Sect are used to Su Yang's presence because they always cultivate with him, in the eyes of these female cultivators that were seeing Su Yang for their first time, it was a profound experience that could not be described by words alone. In their eyes, Su Yang was not only the number genius in the world, but also a peak expert at the level of Zai Wang from the Zai family, if not even higher. They were not just cultivating with the sect master from the Profound Blossom Sect, one of the top sects in the Eastern continent. They were also cultivating with an otherworldly being that has toppled the world's common sense and started an entirely new era of alchemy by himself. There's no need to be nervous. I won't bite. Let's begin with removing your clothes, Su Yang said to the female cultivators in a gentle voice when they stood there with nervous looks on their faces. The female cultivators nodded, and they removed their clothes. A few moments later, the 10 of them stood next to each other in a line while completely naked. Su Yang then pointed to the female cultivator standing closest to him and beckoned her to approach him. And almost as though she was charmed by his beckoning, the female cultivator slowly approached the bed with a dazed look on her face. Once she was beside the bed, Su Yang grabbed her body and carried her onto the bed. After lying the female cultivator onto the bed, Su Yang retrieved a bottle with some mysterious liquid inside from his storage ring and poured it all over his hot rod. "This will not only relieve you of all pain since it's your first time, but it will also enhance the pleasure you feel," said Su Yang as he poked her entrance with his thick rod. "How did you know it's my first time?" the female cultivator asked him in a dazed voice. "It's a specialty of mine," he responded with a smile on his face. "Take a deep breath," he continued. The female cultivator nodded her head and took a deep breath as Su Yang instructed. A moment later, Su Yang pushed the tip of his rod inside her cave, spreading her slit wide. Tilda, the female cultivator moaned in a surprised voice, yet there was no pain from it. Blood dripped from her cave, staining Su Yang's rod and the new blanket red. Su Yang began moving shortly after, thrusting his massive totem in and out of her virgin cave. On Tilda. The female cultivator moaned loudly, her voice filled with bliss and excitement. Meanwhile, the other 9 female cultivators watched with wide eyes, and unbeknownst to them, their caves began drooling with yin qi, dripping onto the floor. Su Yang cultivated with the female cultivator for a couple of minutes until she almost lost consciousness before calling the next one onto the bed and cultivating with her, taking away her innocence as well. After spending a little over half an hour cultivating with these 10 female cultivators that experienced a significant boost in their cultivation base afterward, Su Yang called the next 10 female cultivators upstairs and began cultivating with them after a brief introduction. Time passed quickly, and before he was aware, a month was gone. During this month, Su Yang cultivated with thousands of female cultivators with a few hours of break every couple of days, using the yin qi in the room to increase his cultivation and restore his energy. Of course, The ladies from the Su family went back to cultivate with Su Yang after they finished absorbing his yang qi, and since they had line priority, they got to cultivate with him whenever they wanted. This was the same for the disciples of the Profound Blossom Sect. After they absorbed the yang qi in their body, they returned to Su Yang for even more yang qi. If only I'd joined the Profound Blossom Sect before this, the female cultivators waiting outside sighed, their voices filled with regret. Unfortunately, even if they joined the sect after this event, Su Yang might no longer be in the sect by then, making it somewhat pointless. After another month and a few thousand female cultivators later, a certain individual showed up in the Yang Pagoda. A gentle smile appeared on Su Yang's face when he saw this beautiful lady, and he called her name. It's been a while, Li Zio Mo. Chapter 842. Ever since she left the sect indeed, the person who showed up in the Yang Pagoda was Li Zio Mo, who used to be an inner court disciple at the Profound Blossom Sect before the Million Snakes sect attacked. After she left the Profound Blossom Sect, she joined another sect called the Yellow River Sect, where she learned to use illusion techniques. In that sect, she realized that other than dual cultivation, she had other talents as well, which allowed her to become a core disciple very quickly. It's been a while indeed, Su Yang. Li Zio Mo, who was as pretty as ever, bowed to him with a beautiful smile on her face. The other 9 female cultivators there looked at Li Zio Mo with surprised looks on their faces. During these last few weeks, they got to know each other very well because they were essentially stuck with each other while waiting in line, and Li Zio Mo only mentioned that she used to be a Profound Blossom Sect disciple, nothing about knowing Su Yang. "How have you been?" Su Yang then asked her. "I've been doing great. I've not only become a core disciple at the sect, but I've even learned many new techniques. Of course, they have no use in the bedroom." Li Zio Mo chuckled gracefully. Su Yang nodded and said, "Let's talk more in a bit. For now, let me cultivate with these other ladies." "Take your time, Su Yang." Li Zio Mo nodded. Sometime later, Su Yang began cultivating with the other 9 female cultivators. As always, his dual cultivation techniques are flawless and a work of art. Li Zio Mo thought to herself as she watched Su Yang fill these 9 female cultivators with lust and satisfaction. Half an hour later, the 9 female cultivators left the Yang Pagoda with their caves filled with Su Yang's yang qi. "Come here, Li Zio Mo," Su Yang said to her after switching the dirty blanket for a new one. Li Zio Mo nodded her head and approached the bed before sitting in front of Su Yang. Su Yang did not immediately begin their cultivation, and he waited for her to speak first. "You know, Su Yang, I haven't practiced dual cultivator ever since I left the Profound Blossom Sect," Li Zio Mo suddenly said after a moment of silence. "Oh, a beauty such as yourself, are there no men in the Yellow River Sect or what?" Su Yang raised his eyebrows. Li Zio Mo laughed a little before shaking her head. "I wish that was the case. When I first joined the sect, I had male disciples knocking on my door every day since everybody knew I used to be a dual cultivator at the Profound Blossom Sect. I guess they thought I was a woman who'd spread my legs for everyone. There were even a few forceful ones, but luckily for me, my cultivation was higher than theirs, and the sect elders were very helpful, especially once they learned of my talents. Even now, there are disciples who still approach me, but most of them are core disciples at the very least." "I see. Do you intend on giving up the path of a dual cultivator forever?" Su Yang then asked her. Li Zio Mo nodded her head and said, "Yes. I became a disciple at the Profound Blossom Sect because I thought that I had no other talents besides dual cultivation. I was quite pitiful at first since I didn't like dual cultivation, but I eventually got used to it. However, I'm glad I became a dual cultivator since I managed to meet you, Su Yang." "It's going to be lonely when you leave, Su Yang," Li Zio Mo said with a saddened look on her face. Su Yang lifted his hands and C-A-R-E-S said her smooth cheeks. Li Xiaomo closed her eyes and lifted her head slightly. Su Yang accepted her invitation and kissed her on the lips. After a good minute of kissing, Su Yang laid Li Xiaomo on her back. He then poked her cave with his massive rod, and since it has been a long time since she last cultivated it, it was extremely tight. Li Xiaomo moaned softly as Su Yang's massive rod entered her cave and created a bulge on her stomach. Su Yang began moving his hips shortly after, shoving his rod into Li Xiaomo's cave continuously. Li Xiaomo's moaning gradually grew louder and louder, and despite having many experiences, it felt like she was doing it for the first time. Su Yang, I love you, Li Xiaomo cried out loud with tears flowing from her eyes as they cultivated. Su Yang lifted her body and kissed her some more without stopping his movements. Many minutes later, Su Yang released his Yang Qi inside Li Xiaomo. Ha! Li Xiaomo laid on the bed with a satisfied expression on her face. I am going to miss you when you leave, Su Yang. This is most likely going to be my last time experiencing dual cultivation as well, since I don't plan on cultivating with anyone besides you for the rest of my life, Li Xiaomo said to him afterward. After a moment of silence, Su Yang said, You don't know that for sure. I might return to this world one day, or you might even fall in love with someone else. Li Xiaomo shook her head and said, I don't think that'll ever happen, Su Yang. My feelings for you did not lessen ever since I left the Profound Blossom Sect. I'm confident it'll remain like this for the rest of my life. I see, Su Yang mumbled. After another moment of silence, he continued, If that's the case, why don't you come with me to the divine heavens? Li Xiaomo's eyes widened with surprise after hearing his offer, as such a thought has never appeared in her mind until this moment. Chapter 843. Not fully relieved, come with me to the divine heavens, Li Xiaomo, if you want to stay by my side forever. Su Yang continued, seeing her shocked face. I don't know, Su Yang. Li Xiaomo sighed after a moment of silence. I don't know if I can leave another sect. The Yellow River sect didn't mind that I was a deserter, and allowed me to join their sect when every other sect refused me. I can't just leave them. It'd be a slap in their faces. Li Xiaomo sighed. Not only would it make her feel guilty, but it would also be quite disrespectful to the sect that took her hand when the other sects wouldn't even look at her, since people don't like deserters. I understand your feelings, I really do. How about this? I will go speak with the Yellow River sect about your situation and even compensate them for their trouble. This way, your leave won't be as abrupt and you won't feel guilty, especially if you receive their approval, Su Yang suggested. You will speak with the sect, Li Xiaomo mumbled with a pondering face. Of course, if you rather stay in this world, that's fine too. I have until a few more months before I leave this world, so you still have some time to decide, Su Yang said to her. Li Xiaomo nodded her head. Okay. Great. Then let's continue our cultivation, Su Yang said to her as they went for round 2. That day, Li Xiaomo managed to cultivate with Su Yang for nearly the entire day. Thank you, Su Yang. I will wait for you at the Yellow River sect. Li Xiaomo bowed to Su Yang afterward, before leaving the Yang pagoda with a satisfied face and a sensitve body. After Li Xiaomo left the place, Su Yang called the next 10 female cultivators upstairs and continued to cultivate. And in the blink of an eye, another month passed. Wow, I can finally see the end of the line. I never thought I'd see the day, one of the Profound Blossom Sect's elders said to herself when she noticed the empty area at the end of the line at the horizon. There are still tens of thousands of people in the line, though, another one said. I cannot believe the sect master really managed to cultivate for this long without exhausting himself. What a legend! How many partners did he cultivate with during this event? I lost count at 40,000. You actually counted them. Well, I got bored and I was genuinely curious. If you're bored, go cultivate with the sect master. We have queue priority anyways. While the line grew shorter and shorter, Su Yang's cultivation increased more and more. After a few more weeks, Su Yang managed to break through again, reaching the second-level sovereign spirit realm. Su Yang took a deep breath after his breakthrough, and he used his divine sense to look outside. Less than 1,000 left, huh? It's been a while since I last cultivated with so many people at once. Su Yang mumbled. After resting for a little bit longer, he continued sending female cultivators upstairs. A few more days later, Su Yang cultivated with the last female cultivator. Thank you, Su Yang. Once the last person left the Yang pagoda, Su Yang walked to the window and stared at the blue sky. However, he still wasn't fully relieved and fully satisfied despite many weeks of cultivation. Looks like I underestimated the fiery hellfire seed a little bit, Su Yang mumbled. After pondering for a moment, Su Yang said out loud, "Come over here, Xiao Rong." Xiao Rong, who had been staying inside Su Yang's room for the past couple of weeks, heard her name being called and immediately flew out of the window and appeared at the Yang pagoda 2 seconds later. "Thank you for your patience and behaving yourself, Xiao Rong. As a reward, I will finally let you taste my Yang Qi." Xiao Rong's eyes immediately flickered with excitement after hearing Su Yang's words. She has been yearning for this day ever since she got a taste of it many months ago. Su Yang had already planned on letting Xiao Rong take care of his remaining Yang Qi before he even consumed the fiery hellfire seed. However, he wasn't sure how much Yang Qi Xiao Rong would be able to handle. After replacing the blanket on the bed, Su Yang laid on the fresh new blanket and said, "Come here." Xiao Rong immediately jumped on the bed and began licking Su Yang's stiff rod without any hesitation. "Calm down, Xiao Rong. You have all the time in the world right now." Su Yang chuckled after seeing her hastiness. Xiao Rong nodded and slowed down her movements, slowly licking his rod. A few minutes later, seeing how Xiao Rong hasn't stopped licking it, Su Yang said to her, "Xiao Rong, if you want to extract Yang Qi, you'll need to do more than just lick it." "What should I do, master?" She stopped licking and asked him. "Open your mouth and put it inside your mouth," Su Yang then instructed. Xiao Rong nodded and covered the tip of his rod with her small mouth. Feeling Xiao Rong's moist and warm mouth around his rod, Su Yang continued, "Now rock your head back and forth while sucking on it gently." Xiao Rong followed his instruction and proceeded to move her head back and forth while sucking on his rod. Make sure you avoid touching it with your teeth. Once you get a hang of the feeling, you can start using your tongue and moving your head more vigorously. Thus, Xiao Rong began giving Su Yang a fellatio. Although Xiao Rong's movement was very amateurish at first and barely gave Su Yang any pleasure, as Xiao Rong spent more time sucking on his rod, the more experienced she became, almost like she was a natural. Chapter 844, Xiao Rong's Bottomless Appetite, MMM. The room was very quiet while Xiao Rong sucked on Su Yang's rod silently. After spending an hour straight sucking on Su Yang's rod and getting a feeling for it, Xiao Rong began increasing her momentum and her sucking force. Meanwhile, Su Yang laid on the bed with his eyes closed and a relaxed expression on his face, almost like he was taking a nap underneath the sun. Once he was beginning to feel pleasure, Su Yang decided to reward Xiao Rong for her efforts. "Here go you, Xiao Rong." A moment later, he released a burst of Yang Qi inside Xiao Rong's mouth. Xiao Rong quickly stopped moving her head and focused on the Yang Qi that was gushing inside her mouth. Once the Yang Qi stopped coming, Xiao Rong removed her mouth from his rod without leaving any Yang Qi behind and swallowed all of his Yang Qi in one motion. After swallowing, Xiao Rong mumbled in a satisfied voice, "Delicious." Su Yang sat up on the bed and wiped the Yang Qi at the corner of her lips with his fingers and said, "Then you should not waste it." Xiao Rong quickly licked the yang qi from Su Yang's finger. "Can I have some more?" she asked him afterward. "You can have as much as you want." Su Yang laid back down on the bed, and Xiao Rong immediately returned to squeezing yang qi from his rod with her mouth. 1 time, 10 times, 100 times. Over the next few days, Xiao Rong kept on sucking Su Yang's rod, drinking his yang qi hundreds of times without any signs of feeling full or bored of it. Furthermore, her mouth techniques have also improved by leaps and bounds. At her current level, she wouldn't lose to even some of the top disciples in the Profound Blossom Sect when it comes to giving fellatios. "Do you want to rest? You've been going at it for days now," Su Yang asked Xiao Rong a week later. However, to his surprise, Xiao Rong shook her head and said, "I can keep going." Su Yang nodded his head and no longer asked her. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Xiao Rong has pleasured Su Yang's rod for a month straight at this point, yet she didn't have any signs of stopping any time soon. Heavens, at this rate, she will continue drinking my yang qi even a year later without any rest. Phantom cats, what a terrifying existence. Su Yang was shocked inwardly by Xiao Rong's bottomless appetite for his yang qi. A few more days later, Su Yang said to her, "Okay, Xiao Rong, you can stop now. My body is fully relieved now." Xiao Rong, who had been in a trance, suddenly stopped sucking and looked at him with a dejected look on her face. "You're still not satisfied after drinking that much yang qi. I'll let you drink more yang qi whenever I have time later, but for now, let's stop here," Su Yang said to her. Although she was reluctant to stop, Xiao Rong removed her mouth from Su Yang's rod. After Xiao Rong stopped, Su Yang went to take a shower. Sometime later, Su Yang summoned all of the disciples in the Profound Blossom Sect and he said to them, "Thank you all for participation. As you can see, I have managed to enter the sovereign spirit realm safely, and this is all due to your efforts. Congratulations, Su Yang, on your breakthrough." The disciples congratulated him, filling the place with cheers. Once the place calmed down, Su Yang said to them, "I'm going to spend a few days resting before I leave the sect for a bit to take care of other things." After dismissing the disciples, Su Yang returned to the Yin-Yang Pavilion, where he spent the next 3 days resting. Despite his sovereign spirit realm cultivation base, it was still exhausting to cultivate for so long without much rest, especially towards the end, when Xiao Rong sucked him dry literally. "How are you feeling, Su Yang?" Ku visited him on the 3rd day. Su Yang smiled and said, "Good, but are you going to stop calling me father now?" After a moment of silence, Ku said in a slightly embarrassed face, "Would you rather I call you father?" "No, I was just wondering since you stopped. You can call me whatever you feel is more comfortable," Su Yang chuckled. "Then I will call you Su Yang since it feels more personal that way," Ku said. And she continued, "Anyways, I am going to the southern continent to check on the mirror. We should have about 3 more months before it returns." Su Yang nodded, "Okay." However, right as Ku turned around and prepared to leave, Su Yang stopped her and said, "You're going to leave just like that? How about a kiss before you leave?" After standing there for a moment, Ku turned around with a slightly red face and she approached the bed. Ku gave Su Yang a passionate kiss that lasted a good minute. "Then I'll leave now," Ku said as she left the room shortly after. "I should also leave. 3 months. I don't have much time left here, yet there's still so much to be done." After fixing his appearance, Su Yang left the Profound Blossom Sect on his flying treasure, flying towards the Yellow River Sect. About half an hour later, he arrived at the Yellow River Sect. Su Yang then landed at the sect's entrance. "I am Su Yang from the Profound Blossom Sect, and I'm here to see your sect master," he said to the guards. "Su Yang." The guards immediately recognized his name, as it has been widespread for a while now, and they even recall a few disciples from their sect talking about their first time with him. Please wait a moment while I call a sect elder, the guard said before taking out a communication jade slip and notifying a sect elder of the situation. Chapter 845, Yellow River Sect Elder. We have a situation here. The sect master of the Profound Blossom Sect, Su Yang, is here, and he wants to meet with our sect master. The guard relayed this information to the sect elder behind the jade slip. What? Is this true? Give me a moment to speak with the sect master. A few minutes later, the guard at the entrance received the sect master's permission to allow Su Yang inside the Yellow River Sect. Please give me a moment. I'll call a disciple here to bring you to the sect master. Don't bother. I know where to find him, Su Yang said as he went inside the sect. Inside the Yellow River Sect, Su Yang's presence attracted the attention of every disciple that saw him, and they all acted like they were seeing a ghost or something similar. Heavens, isn't that Su Yang from the Profound Blossom Sect? What's he doing here? I thought he was still dealing with that event. I guess it's safe to assume that he's finished. I wonder how many women he got to sleep with during that time. Definitely more than anybody in this sect will in their lifetime combined. News of Su Yang's appearance quickly spread around the sect and the disciples, shocking everybody there. Within minutes, female disciples from the sect could be seen outside their homes and trying to take a peek at Su Yang's appearance. Wow, you got to sleep with someone that handsome. I kind of regret not going to that event now. Yes, and it was a wonderful experience that I will remember for the rest of my life. Even my cultivation increased by 4 whole levels afterward. Me too. I entered the true spirit realm in a single day thanks to Su Yang. I'm so envious. Why didn't I meet the requirements? I was only a level away from meeting the cultivation requirements too. Meanwhile, somewhere within the inner court, Li Xiaomo stopped walking when she heard the name Su Yang coming from the disciples beside her. Really? Does this mean he's here right now? That's what I heard. Li Xiaomo stared at these disciples with a somewhat dazed look on her face. Su Yang, he's really here, Li Xiaomo thought to herself. At the sect master's headquarters, Su Yang sat before an old man with a calm look on his face. Thank you for meeting with me despite my unannounced and sudden visit, Sect Master Huang. Su Yang said to the old man. Please, it's an honor for the Yellow River Sect to have someone as exalted as you visit us. In fact, I'd like to apologize for not greeting you at the entrance. Su Yang shook his head and said, let's forget about the little talks and get straight to the point. Sect Master Huang swallowed nervously after hearing Su Yang's words, silently wondering to himself if the Yellow River Sect had done something to offend him. Su Yang suddenly smiled and said, don't worry, I'm not here to cause trouble. He then retrieved a medium-sized wooden box and placed it on the table between them. This is. Sect Master Huang raised his eyebrows. This is just a small token of gratitude I am giving the Yellow River Sect, Su Yang said, and he continued, go ahead, open it. Sect Master Huang swallowed nervously before he turned the box around and opened it in a careful manner, acting as if the box might explode if he didn't. This is. Sect Master Huang's eyes widened with shock upon seeing the pills neatly placed inside the box. Inside the box were 3 Heaven Transcendence pill and 7 Earth Advancement pill. What is the meaning of this, Sect Master Su? What did the Yellow River Sect do to deserve your gratitude? Sect Master Huang asked him. Surely, he didn't come all the way here just to thank them because a few disciples from their sect had decided to give their bodies to him, right? Li Xiaomo, does this name sound familiar? Su Yang suddenly brought up her name. Su Yang nodded and said, then you should know that she used to be a disciple at the Profound Blossom Sect. When the other sects refused to help her, the Yellow River Sect accepted her as a disciple. As the sect master of the Profound Blossom Sect, I want to personally thank you for it. Sect Master Huang remained silent, his thoughts unclear. After a long moment of silence, Sect Master Huang spoke in a low voice. You want Li Xiaomo to return to the Profound Blossom Sect, huh? These pills. It's definitely not just to thank us, right? Indeed, I am here for Li Ziomo. Su Yang nodded his head, not even bothering to lie, and he continued, however, you're wrong about one thing. Li Ziomo isn't going to return to the Profound Blossom Sect as a disciple. Huh, what do you mean by that? Where are you going to take her then? Sect Master Huang raised his eyebrows in a puzzled manner. Su Yang extended a finger and pointed it at himself. I'm taking Li Ziomo with me to the divine heavens, he said with a smile on his face. After another moment of silence, Sect Master Huang spoke again. I understand the situation, however. I still don't understand why you feel the need to speak with me, much less hand me these pills. If you want Li Ziomo to go with you, shouldn't you be asking her instead? Yes, but she's hesitant because she doesn't want to feel guilty about it. After all, the Yellow River sect accepted her when nobody else did, and she feels some sort of obligation to stay in this place, hence why I'm here. Su Yang said in a calm voice. Chapter 846, Sect Master Huang's decision. I see, so that's what Disciple Li feels. Sect Master Huang closed his eyes after listening to Su Yang's explanation. Can I call Disciple Li here? He then asked a moment later. Su Yang nodded. I was going to do that if you didn't ask. Sect Master Huang proceeded to summon Li Ziomo using the communication jade slip. Sometime later, Li Ziomo knocked on the door. I am here, Sect Master. Li Ziomo's voice resounded outside. Enter. Upon hearing Sect Master Huang's voice, Li Ziomo opened the door and entered the room. Disciple Li greets Sect Master Huang and Sect Master Su. Li Ziomo gave them a formal greeting. You can drop the formality. Li Ziomo, come, sit next to me. Su Yang patted the seat beside him in a casual manner. Li Ziomo swallowed nervously before taking a seat beside him. Disciple Li, I only have one question for you. Sect Master Huang looked at her with a serious expression on his face. Do you wish to follow Sect Master Su? He asked. However, before she could respond, Sect Master Huang interrupted. I don't care about your feelings for the Yellow River sect. I only want to know whether you want to follow him or not. Li Ziomo's eyes widened, and after a moment of silence, she nodded her head. I do, Sect Master. I want to be with Su Yang, I really do. Li Ziomo responded with a serious face of her own. Sect Master Huang closed his eyes and took a deep breath. After a good minute of silence, he opened his eyes back up and said in a solemn voice, Disciple Li, as of this moment, you're no longer a disciple of our Yellow River sect. With my authority as the sect master, I hereby strip you of your disciple status. Li Ziomo's eyes widened with shock, and she immediately opened her mouth to speak, but alas, no words came out as she was completely left speechless by the way Sect Master Huang handled this situation. This is for your own good, Disciple No, Li Ziomo. While we treasure your talents, we also know that our Yellow River sect cannot fully nurture a genius like you. However, Sect Master Su is a completely different story. He will even bring you to the divine heavens, where you'll be able to fully spread your wings. I cannot keep you here. Therefore, forget about us and go with Sect Master Su. Sect Master Huang. Li Ziomo suddenly felt the urge to cry, but she managed to hold her tears. She stood up and lowered her body, bowing to Sect Master Huang. Thank you, Sect Master Huang, for all of your hard work and for allowing me to become a part of this sect even though it was only briefly. However, I don't think I will be able to forget about you or the time I've spent in this place, so forgive me for that. Sect Master Huang nodded his head without saying anything else. Let's go. I'll bring you back to the Profound Blossom Sect for now, Su Yang said to her. Once they began to leave, Sect Master Huang suddenly said, Sect Master Su, your gift. You can take them back. We won't keep it or I will flip this entire place upside down. Su Yang quickly interrupted with a malicious smile on his face. Sect Master Huang's eyes widened with shock. To his surprise, Su Yang actually threatened him, forcing him to accept the gift, just like how he'd forced Li Ziomo to follow him. Su Yang left the place with Li Xiaomo a few seconds later, leaving Sect Master Huang speechless. "I didn't think that you'd really come to the Yellow River Sect to get me, Su Yang," Li Xiaomo said to him after they soared to the sky in the flying boat. "What makes you say that?" Su Yang then asked. "I thought you were only trying to cheer me up back at the Yang Pagoda. I wouldn't have minded if that was actually the case, since you definitely cheered me up." "Oh, and what makes you think that I'd do that to you?" Su Yang continued to ask. "Well, our first encounter wasn't pleasant, to say the least." Su Yang chuckled and said, "My first encounter with many of my current partners wasn't completely pleasant either. One of them even tried to feed me poison. However, I still accepted her into my family because I believe people can change, and I could tell that her feelings were genuine. If I refused someone because of some minor inconveniences, I wouldn't have so many partners today. As for you, Li Xiaomo, it's the same thing. You have changed drastically since our first meeting, and I can tell that your feelings are genuine. In fact, I have known about this ever since our reunion at the regional tournament." Li Xiaomo looked at him with a passionate gaze before speaking. "So you really don't mind having me by your side?" Su Yang didn't immediately answer her question. Instead, he picked up her chin with his hand and gave her a passionate kiss on the lips. A few moments later, he spoke with a charming smile on his face. "I don't mind it at all. Even though we haven't known each other for that long," she then asked. And he continued, "You know, I have accepted someone into the family after knowing her for only a single day. In fact, it was more like half the day." "Half a day, and you accepted her into the family?" Li Xiaomo looked at him with wide eyes. "Yes, and I have spent over 1,000 years with her without having a single second of regret." Su Yang nodded. "Unbelievable," Li Xiaomo mumbled in a dazed voice. "And I'm sure it'll be for the same with you as well, Li Xiaomo," Su Yang said to her. Li Xiaomo finally nodded her head with a blissful expression on her face, and with all of her doubt washed away. A few minutes later, they arrived at the Profound Blossom Sect Chapter 847, scheduling the continental meeting. Once they returned to the Profound Blossom Sect, Su Yang brought Li Xiaomo to Liu Lanjai and explained the situation to her. "I have a meeting to arrange for the 5 continents, so I won't be back for a while," Su Yang said to them before leaving the Profound Blossom Sect again. "So you've decided to follow Su Yang to the divine heavens, huh? You're extremely lucky, Li Xiaomo," Liu Lanjai said to her after Su Yang left. "I know," Li Xiaomo nodded her head with a gentle smile on her face. Meanwhile, Su Yang went straight to Snowfall City to meet with the Zai family. "Congratulations on your breakthrough, Su Yang," Zai Wang said to him. "It's nothing worth mentioning about." He shook his head. "Nonsense. While it may be nothing in your eyes, it's an immense achievement for everyone else in this world. It wouldn't be an exaggeration even if I called it a miracle. Reaching the sovereign spirit realm at such a young age, one can only dream of such an achievement," Zai Wang said to him. "1 week. We'll have the gathering at the Holy Central Continent in 1 week," Su Yang said. "Sounds good," Zai Wang nodded. "I am also okay with this schedule," said Lord Zai. "Then I'll let the others know. If there are any changes in the schedule, I'll let you know afterward," Su Yang said. After the short meeting, Su Yang went to spend some time with Zai Xingfeng and the twins before leaving the Eastern Continent and flying towards the Holy Central Continent. "In a week, huh? I'll let the others know." Emperor Lion nodded after hearing the news, and he continued, "Where do you want to hold the gathering? Do you have any vacant areas?" Su Yang asked. A vacant area." Emperor Lion closed his eyes to ponder for a moment. A minute later, his eyes snapped open and he said, "We do have one. After learning of Patriarch Gold's deeds, we decided to demolish the entire Golden Lion Academy altogether. That area right now is an empty plot of land that's being auctioned off to the others. We can use that place for the gathering." Su Yang didn't react much to the Golden Lion Academy's destruction, and nodded his head with a nonchalant look on his face. Sometime later, Emperor Lion asked, "By the way, how's my wife?" "Feng Xindu is doing fine. What about you? Have you been practicing the techniques I gave you?" Su Yang asked him in return. Emperor Lion nodded with a serious look on his face, and he said, "I have trained day and night ever since she left. I am now confident that I'll be able to satisfy her." Su Yang smiled and said, "Then I'll bring her back here next week and let her be the judge." "Thank you, Su Yang," Emperor Lion said to him. Su Yang left the holy central continent shortly after and traveled to the other 3 continents to relay the same information to the rulers of each continent respectively. In the end, all of them agreed to meet next week. Thus, Su Yang began transporting the people that will be participating in the meeting to the holy central continent. However, since Qiyu took the big flying treasure to visit Silver Mirror, Su Yang had to make multiple trips on his smaller flying treasure since it could only carry 4 people at once maximum, and Su Yang didn't want to feel crowded, so he only took 2 other people with him at a time. "The meeting will be in a week and you're going to be there with me." Su Yang reminded her that she was also participating. Although she was nervous, Liu Lanjai still nodded her head. "Good. I'll bring you to the holy central continent in a few days. I'm going to cultivate Li Xiaomo until then," Su Yang said to her before disappearing from the Yin-Yang pavilion, showing up to Li Xiaomo's living quarters a few minutes later. "Su Yang." Li Xiaomo greeted him at the door. Su Yang looked at her living quarters with a smile and said, "You picked your old place." Li Xiaomo nodded. "This is where I feel the most comfortable. It's only been over a year since I left the Profound Blossom Sect, yet everything feels so foreign to me, almost like it's my first time being here." "I don't blame you. The place experienced a lot of renovation after all," Su Yang said to her. "Anyways, let's go inside." Inside Li Xiaomo's room, Su Yang started a long conversation with her, mostly talking about his real background as an immortal who used to live in the divine heavens. After revealing his background, Su Yang explained to Li Xiaomo about the family seal. "Do you want to join my family, Li Xiaomo? If you just want to follow me to the divine heavens without being a part of the family, that's fine as well. I won't force you, and there's no pressure into joining the family," Su Yang said to her. "Of course, I want to join your family, Su Yang," Li Xiaomo said to him without any hesitation and with a beautiful smile on her face. Su Yang nodded his head with a smile. A few moments later, they removed their clothes and began embracing each other with their lips connected and their tongues active. Once they were prepared, Su Yang inserted his rod into Li Xiaomo's body, and they began their dual cultivation that lasted until it was almost time for the meeting a few days later. Chapter 848. "I have been spoiled too much chapter by you. So, this is your family seal." Li Xiaomo said the symbol on her stomach in an exhausted manner, feeling as though she just practiced body refining rigorously for many days without any rest. "Do you like it?" Su Yang asked her with a smile on his face. "Yes, I love it very much," Li Xiaomo nodded. "Go take a rest. I'll introduce you to the others later. Right now, I need to take Liu Lanjai with me to the continental meeting." Sometime later, after washing his sweaty body and changing his clothes, Su Yang went to the Yin-Yang pavilion to meet up with Liu Lanjai. "Are you ready to leave?" he asked her. "Yes, just give me a moment." Liu Lanjai retrieved a communication jade slip and contacted Elder Sun. "Elder Sun, I am going to leave the sect with Su Yang now. Take care of the Profound Blossom Sect with Elder Zhao while we are away." "I understand, Sect Master. Stay safe." Elder Sun's voice resounded a moment later. "Okay, let's go." Liu Lanjai left the Yin-Yang pavilion with Su Yang shortly after. A few moments later, the two of them left the Yin-Yang pavilion to see Feng Xindu standing outside. "Are you ready to return as well?" Su Yang asked her. "Yes." She nodded with a calm expression on her face. Sometime later, the three of them left the Profound Blossom Sect on the Flying Treasure and flew towards the Holy Central Continent. Once they arrived at the Holy Central Continent, Su Yang said, "The meeting won't start for another 2 days. We can stay at my family's home until then," Feng Xindu said. A few minutes later, they arrived at the Lion family's household. "Welcome back, my dear." Emperor Lion was ecstatic to see Feng Xindu after so many months, as he would constantly have nightmares about Feng Xindu leaving his side permanently to go with Su Yang. "How have you been lately?" he asked her after a reunion embrace. "Better than I could have ever imagined," Feng Xindu replied with a smile on her face, and she continued, "Su Yang treated me very well. I would be lying if I tell you I wasn't reluctant to come back here." Emperor Lion began having cold sweats after listening to Feng Xindu's words, and he quickly said, "Is that so? Let's go inside for now. We can talk more about it later." Once they were inside, Su Yang said, "I'll borrow one of your rooms to cultivate until the meeting." Emperor Lion nodded and said, "Go ahead, take whichever room you want." "Let's go." Su Yang looked at Liu Lanjai before he started walking. Liu Lanjai bowed to Emperor Lion in a courteous manner before following Su Yang to a room where they cultivated for the next 2 days. Once they were inside, Emperor Lion looked at Feng Xindu with a nervous expression on his face. After taking a deep breath, he said to her, "My dear, I have been practicing the techniques Su Yang gave me for the last few months rigorously, and I want to show you how much I have improved." A moment of awkward silence later, Feng Xindu nodded her head and removed her clothes. "If you disappoint me, I will really leave with Su Yang," she said to him. Emperor Lion swallowed nervously. Even though he was quite confident in his improvement, Feng Xindu's words made him a little doubtful. In Su Yang's room, Liu Lanjai moaned loudly as Su Yang's thick rod pounded her tight cave on the bed. "Yes, tilde, tilde. Right there harder. Wow, your Yang Qi. It's so much more powerful compared to the last time I cultivated with you," Liu Lanjai mumbled in a dazed voice as she looked at the white liquid coming out of her cave. And she continued, "I can probably sell your Yang Qi as a treasure or something at this rate." Su Yang smiled at her words. If only she knew how much his Yang Qi is worth in the divine heavens. Unfortunately, there was only one major dual cultivation sect in the entire Eastern continent, and that was their own sect. If there were a few more dual cultivation sects, she could have definitely created a market with the disciples Yang Qi and Yin Qi. With that being said, there have been new dual cultivation sects popping up in the Eastern continent as of lately. While it might take decades, even centuries, the Eastern continent will eventually have more powerful dual cultivation sects, allowing for them to create their own market. Su Yang, do you think Feng Xindu will be able to go back to her husband and live their lives out normally? Liu Lanjai suddenly asked him. "Why do you ask?" After a moment of silence, she spoke, "Because I know that I personally won't be able to do it." She turned to look at him with a serious expression before continuing, "When you leave in a few months, I probably won't be able to continue my career as a dual cultivator anymore. I have been spoiled too much by you, Su Yang. I have experienced the peak of dual cultivation with you. I highly doubt I'll be able to feel satisfied ever again. You know there are still male disciples in the Profound Blossom Sect, and that I have taught them my dual cultivation techniques, right?" Su Yang asked her. "Of course. However, how long will it take for them to reach your level if such a thing is even possible? While I don't doubt that they'll be amazing dual cultivators in the future much better than our previous disciples, I doubt they'll be able to satisfy me." Liu Lanjai sighed with a solemn look on her face. Chapter 849, Liu Lanjai's Request. Liu Lanjai. "You..." Su Yang opened his mouth but was quickly interrupted by her. "Don't even try to convince me, Su Yang. I have already made up my mind regarding this matter, just like how you decided to leave this world and return to the divine heavens. I have decided to give up my career as a dual cultivator and become a normal cultivator instead. A regular cultivator, huh? Su Yang mumbled, as he never thought the way would come when Liu Lanjai would give up dual cultivating. Are you sure you don't want to come to the divine heavens with me? This way, you won't have to give up being a dual cultivator. I am certain. Liu Lanjai nodded with a resolute expression on her face, becoming the first woman in this world to refuse his offer. However, Su Yang could see the pain in Liu Lanjai's eyes when she refused him. Despite this, he didn't continue trying to convince her since he knew that it would only make her feel worse for rejecting him. I may no longer be a dual cultivator, but I have enough experience to continue teaching the disciples who wish to become one. Furthermore, even if my cultivation slows down, I am completely fine with that since I am already at the heaven spirit realm. Once someone in the sect surpasses me or when I feel like it's the right time, I'll step down as the sect master and live the rest of my life in peace. I see. If that's your choice, I will respect it. Su Yang nodded. As for Feng Xindu, although I have cultivated with her many times during her stay at the Profound Blossom Sect, I have never once used any techniques that her husband doesn't know, and I made sure to hold myself back so that she doesn't become addicted to it. Huh? You don't mean? Liu Lanjai's eyes widened with surprise when she realized the situation. Su Yang nodded and confirmed her thoughts. If I really wanted to steal Feng Xindu away from Emperor Lion, I could easily do it in a single session. However, I held myself back. After all, I only steal from men who don't deserve their wives or partners. Emperor Lion, I can tell that he truly adores Feng Xindu. Su Yang, you're really something else. Liu Lanjai stared at him with a dazed look on her beautiful face. You're probably the only person in this world who can say such words with a confident face. In this entire world, Su Yang would be the only person who can claim that he can easily steal others' partners. A moment later, Liu Lanjai mumbled in a low voice, "Hey Su Yang, yes, do you think I can bear your child?" Su Yang's eyes widened with surprise after hearing her question. She turned to look at him with an emotional gaze. I know, I am as surprised as you right now since I never thought that I'd want to get pregnant with a child, especially knowing my status. However, I really want one with you, Su Yang. I want something to remember you by, something permanent. You can argue that I can use the Profound Blossom Sect, but I don't plan on being a sect master forever, and I want something more sentimental like a child. If you don't want to, that's fine as well, okay. Su Yang suddenly interrupted, taking Liu Lanjai by surprise. Really? You should take some time to think about it. Su Yang shook his head and said, since I cannot take you with me and I cannot stay here, I can, at the very least, leave a part of me behind with you. Therefore, I'm willing to conceive a child with you, Liu Lanjai. Su Yang, tears flowed from Liu Lanjai's eyes as she didn't expect Su Yang to agree so easily. Su Yang then approached her with his rod stiff and twitching from excitement. The question now is, when do you want to bear this child? He then asked her. Now, I want it now, she quickly responded. Su Yang nodded and plugged his rod inside her body, and they began cultivating with each other again. But the atmosphere between them was much different this time compared to all of their sessions prior to this one. Meanwhile, in Emperor Lion's room, Feng Xindu laid on the bed while completely naked and with white stuff sticking to her stomach and chest. What do you think? Emperor Lion asked her in a somewhat exhausted voice, clearly putting a lot of effort into pleasuring her. In a slightly surprised voice, Feng Xindu spoke. Although it's still nowhere near as good as Su Yang's techniques, I can tell that you'd improved drastically since we last did it, and I think it's enough to satisfy me. Really? Emperor Lion's eyes flashed with excitement after hearing her words. Even though he was still not near Su Yang's level, at least he got Feng Xindu's approval. Does this mean you'll come back to me? Emperor Lion then asked. After a moment of silence, Feng Xindu nodded her head and confirmed, "Yes, I'll return to the house." Although she didn't say it for obvious reasons, Feng Xindu actually wanted to stay in the Profound Blossom Sect for a few more months until Su Yang finally leaves this world, since she still preferred him, and he won't be in this world forever. However, she was afraid that if she decided to do this, that her faith for her own husband would fade even more, and that's something extremely hard to recover once lost. Thank you." Emperor Lion leaped at Feng Xindu and immediately began kissing her passionately. 2 days passed in a flash, and the day of the gathering has finally arrived. "Are you ready?" Su Yang asked Liu Lanjai, both of them fully dressed. Liu Lanjai nodded her head, and she followed him outside the room while she rubbed her stomach with a gentle smile on her face, feeling full from Su Yang's hot yang qi. And unlike previously, she wasn't doing this to increase her cultivation faster. Instead, it was so she could conceive his child. Chapter 850 Continental Meeting. Su Yang and Liu Lanjai met up with Emperor Lion and Feng Xindu at the front entrance a few minutes later. "Su Yang, can I speak with you for a moment?" Feng Xindu said to him the moment they arrived. Su Yang nodded, following Feng Xindu to somewhere more private. "I hope you enjoyed your stay here," Emperor Lion said to Liu Lanjai. "Yes, thank you very much for letting us stay here," Liu Lanjai responded with a beaming smile on her face. Meanwhile, after they stopped walking, Feng Xindu lowered her body and bowed to Su Yang. "Thank you for all that you've done for me and my family, Su Yang." Su Yang smiled and said, "So you have finally decided to return to his side, huh?" Feng Xindu's eyes widened with surprise. How did he know what she was thinking? "And you don't have to thank me. I am simply doing what I want, and you're Lion Li's mother. It's only natural for me to help you who was suffering," said Su Yang. "It was fun while it lasted, Su Yang. If I had met you a little bit earlier, perhaps." Su Yang shook his head and interrupted, "Don't continue any further. You'll only doubt yourself in the future. Let's regroup with the others. It won't look good on us if we arrive late to the meeting," Su Yang said, turning around and walking away. Feng Xindu took a deep breath before returning to Emperor Lion's side. "Are you okay?" Emperor Lion asked Feng Xindu when she came back, noticing a hint of gloom on her face. "I'm fine," she responded with a smile on her face. "Let's go meet the others now, shall we?" Emperor Lion said to them. Sometime later, they went outside and entered the carriages that were waiting outside. While they could have simply flown there, it wouldn't be as formal as going in carriages, and having a good first impression is a must for a family of their stature. Of course, these were no ordinary carriages. The carriages were actually mounted onto these tamed magical beasts with wings, resembling large birds, which allowed them to soar into the sky with ease. "We're going to ride this bird." This was Liu Lanjai's first time seeing such a method of traveling, much less travel in one. "If you think this is impressive, imagine riding on dragons and phoenixes." Su Yang chuckled. "How can I imagine something that doesn't even exist in this world?" She shook her head. Once they entered the carriages, the bird flapped their massive wings and flew towards the sky. An hour later, they arrived in a spacious and empty area that used to house the Golden Lion Academy, and in the middle of this place was a single-floored building that appeared to have been recently built. After they landed, Su Yang and the others entered the building. However, before they could even enter the building, Su Yang could already feel the people inside the building staring in their direction. "Welcome, Su Yang. We have been waiting for you," Xian Nai from the Western continent. Even though they already have a teleportation formation on the Western continent, he still decided to participate in the meeting so the other continents don't get any wrong idea about them. As for the other participants, there was Zhu Menji's mother from the Four Seasons Academy, and Wu Jingjing's father from the Holy Sword Academy that represented the Holy Central Continent with the Lion family. In the Southern Continent, it was the Lu family and the Jai family, alongside a couple of individuals Su Yang wasn't familiar with. The Ning family and more people Su Yang don't recognize represented the northern continent. Finally, the Zai family and the Profound Blossom Sect represented the eastern continent. Sometime later, once everybody sat around a massive table, Su Yang said, "Thank you all for participating in this. Now, let's get straight to the point. The Western continent and the Eastern continent have agreed to become neighbors with each other through the teleportation formation. What is preventing the rest of you from doing the same?" Emperor Lion was the first to speak. "Well, let me begin with the most obvious problem, the safety of our own people. While connecting continents sounds like a great idea, it'd be problematic if someone with malicious intentions were to start chaos in a foreign land. How can we prevent this from happening?" Su Yang nodded and said, "That's simple, by restricting the teleportation formation, allowing only those who are trustworthy to use them. Before one can use the teleportation formation, they must receive permission from the family with control over the formation. Furthermore, you can discuss with the other continent to make sure they allow this individual to enter their land. Any more concerns?" "This isn't really a concern, but what is the real purpose of the teleport formation?" "I can't imagine doing something like this just so we can visit each other." One of the individuals from the northern continent that Su Yang didn't recognize asked. "That will depend on the individual. One can simply travel to another continent as a tour. You can also do business with each other. The possibilities are almost endless." Su Yang said, "What about the price? From what I heard, it'll take at least 1,000,000 spirit stones to use the teleport formation. That's simply too expensive for the majority of the people to take advantage of." Su Yang shrugged and said, "The teleport formation isn't meant for everyone, just like how not everyone can afford to live luxuriously." The people there continued to ask Su Yang questions. A couple of hours later, after answering the majority of the questions, Su Yang said to them, "How about this? Let's have a trial period to see whether or not you want the teleport formation in your continent. If you don't like it, you can simply destroy it after all." The people in the room exchanged glances with each other and began pondering.